This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
What is happening, everybody? I am Brian. I am one half of the Talking Shit Show. To my immediate left is...
I'm Mark.
And tonight we got a really crazy show coming off a induction into a Hall of Fame. Man, I can't wait to get into this. But before we do that, we are a part of the Deluxe Edition Network, ladies and gentlemen. And if you head over to the Deluxe Edition Network, slow down, Brian. You can find other great podcasts like ours. And Mark?
Also, podcast of the month is Barrel Aged Flicks. And my personal favorite, History I'd Like to Fuck.
Mark Wood.
With Don Brody. And I mean, I'm just stuck on that one right now. She's got some good shit. But
awesome. You want to introduce our guest?
Well, our guests they've either wrestled for Socal Pro Wrestling or is still wrestling. Okay. Only one of them is actually still wrestling. The other three had to give it up for some weird reason. We'll let them explain. But two of them just came off they were just inducted into the Socal Pro Hall of Fame, and that's Andrew Jasic and Trevor Allen.
Beautiful.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
What is happening?
Hello.
What is happening, gentlemen? Congratulations on your induction, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, I love it, dude. I was waiting for that to get cracked over somebody's head. I'm not even going to lie to you.
It looked like you were going to.
We were thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you were thinking about it.
But then Andy would have lost his job as the ring announcer. So we can't. I've already done that once this year.
Yeah.
The person that inducted you guys, very, very close friend of yours, Mr. Matt Thrash.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very close.
Now, wait a minute. Let's all stop and appreciate one thing. Andy, congratulations, buddy. You signed in on the right time. I'm so proud of you.
Yes. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Perfect. Yes, you did it.
What a
Future inductee, Mr. SoCal Crazy.
Yes.
Hey guys, I was actually going to say the same thing. Andy, you got it right this time.
Everybody. It's a month
Let's
ago.
all jump on Andy.
Get over it.
We're never going to let it go.
I'm allowed mistakes.
Of course. We're never going to let it go, though. It's just,
I got like 4 of them. They're called kids.
Oh. You're going to regret that when you blow up and you get cancel cultured in like 5 years.
Yep.
We're on YouTube. I don't think that there is a cancel culture around here, is there?
Oh, yeah. There's cancel culture everywhere.
Everywhere. We were just talking about the other day. We can't. If Anchors Away was around today, we wouldn't last.
Oh God, not in the iteration that we were in. Absolutely not.
No.
We
pushed some buttons.
No. Hold on. So there were rules at SoCal Pro Wrestling just for us.
Yeah.
Just for us. There were things written like no swearing, no racial slurs, things like that. That was directed at Andy and I.
Yeah.
I don't think it was just at SoCal Pro though.
No, it was everywhere.
Oh, everybody knew.
You had the DX rule.
Oh, and we didn't care. And it wasn't necessarily like racial slurs. We made fun of everybody. I once told a gentleman in a wheelchair to stand up and salute me.
Yeah. Mark,
and this is why you're going to hell. So
Mark, I gotta tell you, these guys are more DX than DX ever was. If DX were to see Anchors Away, they would be like, "You guys are it."
Hey, maybe they could have been in DX then.
Oh,
they would have been DX, but they would have kicked everyone else out. David E. Jones would have marshaled everyone out of the building.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, here's a question that I actually have, and this has to do with something Trevor said in our very first interview that you weren't part of because you don't know how to tell time.
Time zones, Andy. You realize that there's different hours across the country.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Bro,
He's married.
It's his wife's fault. She
Boat
should
with
have
the
told
Navy,
me.
dude.
I was totally gonna let Brian take the fall for it, and I was just like I was Facebook because I was panicking at that time, so I was Facebook messaging Brian at the time, and I was like, hey bro, I thought you should have told me it was a time zone, so I was like scrolling up for messages, and it was just like, okay, so it'd be 5 p.m. your time. I'm like, shit. we ain't going that route today.
Yeah, well, at least we got that taken care of. But anyways, Trevor said right before he got off there that there was something funny that happened during one of the matches. Do you remember that, Trevor?
Yeah, I do.
And Andy said it had something to do, I believe, with a fart.
Uh-huh.
I figured that.
You guys are all very gassy. I mean, SoCal, real quick. There's been 4 of these guys right here, or excuse me, 3 of these guys right here have been in the ring together and have farted on each other at some point or another.
Yes.
Have you been in a ring and farted on either Andy, Trevor, or Matt, or anybody?
Come on, bro. You're gonna ask if SoCal Crazy ever farted on his opponent? The dude's name is SoCal Crazy.
I don't think I've ever farted on anybody, but I do remember Matt Twisted farting on me.
Yeah, everybody farted on Nestor.
Everybody farted on Nestor.
Hey, was it you that Twisted crapped his pants while wrestling, or was that Gus? It was an elementary school show that we did for Saw, and I remember he said he took a backdrop on the outside and crapped his pants.
I think that was Twisted.
No, it was Twisted. I just can't remember if he was wrestling Nestor or SoCal Crazy or Gus.
I might have been Gus. But I remember him. I remember him telling me that as well.
It was. I forget the name of that elementary school, but
Perkins.
Yeah.
Perkins, yeah.
The T.J. Perkins Elementary School.
The T.J. Perkins Elementary School.
I remember that one.
I mean, I probably would have crapped myself too just to get out of a match with Gus. That guy was horrible.
I'll tell you. Listen, I know what this was supposed to be, but we need to turn it into like the Saw podcast. Just have our Saw.
Well, hey,
there's going to be a lot of it, I'm sure.
Mark asked me the other day. He goes, "Should we try to get Mike Rapata to surprise the guys?"
That would have been amazing.
I was like, no. We interview Mike separately, and then we go, "Hey guys, how do you feel about a Mike Rapata interview?" And that's the way.
Put him in.
And that's the way we would have went.
He still has
not a message.
He still has not answered. Yeah, he still has not.
He won't. And
that you have
he's not going to watch this anyway. But the only one he likes, like out of everybody here, is going to be Nestor. Like that or SoCal Crazy. He's the only person because everybody fucking gets along with him. He's like he's the nicest guy in the world.
He really
everybody
is.
loves him.
Wait, who's Nestor?
To us? Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know who Nestor is.
We're going to screw that up all day.
I know. That's the Christmas donkey from the song with the song and dance. That's Nestor the Christmas donkey. I know what you're doing, bro, and it's cool.
The last time that Andy and I saw Mike Rapata, Mike was berating Andy. And Andy was just standing there, and he was rebuttaling him. And we get in the car, and Andy's like, "Why the hell didn't you say anything to him?" And I looked at Andy, and I was like, "Did Mike ever look my way, say my name, say anything to me?" And Andy's like, "Wait a minute.
You know what's
didn't
crazy?
Even say anything to you."
No,
I don't even think Mike recognized me because that was right after I had cut my hair really short like yours.
That's true. You had flat top.
I shaved my goatee.
Yeah.
Like
when I got an
honestly
opportunity,
don't think Mike recognized me.
When I got an opportunity to referee and learn how to wrestle with SAW, I remember specifically that Andy and Mike were hand in hand. They were on par to do these giant freaking moves and stuff. And I remember as a referee one time, I'm laying in the middle of the ring, and Andy gets up on the top rope, and Mike suplexes him from the top rope. And we're at the beach. We're down at the beach. Ocean Beach. And I'm like in the middle of the ring, and everybody's like, "Dude, you got to move. Shit's about that." I was like, "Whatever. I'm gonna lay here." And here comes a big boot right across the sternum. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll move."
Was that mine? That was mine, right?
That was you. Yeah.
Well, it
But
wasn't
no,
Big
like,
Bully
you guys-
Douglas.
That makes me feel better.
You guys had, and call it what you will, man, but you guys had some really great matches, you and Mike.
We did.
I mean,
we did.
Fantastic.
Yeah, really.
I love. Look, I will say this unequivocally. I will criticize Mike and his, or at least some of his wrestling. I don't know, ethics, I guess, or his thought process on how wrestling should work. I'll criticize that to the moon, but he's probably one of the more talented workers I've ever worked with. He's incredibly good.
Absolutely.
He's not only like athletic. I mean, because he's smart. The way he wrestles is very smart.
Well, that's just because he did the first drop kick in China.
That's what it is. He did the first drop kick
Kate.
in China. And he'll tell you about it if you bring him on his podcast. So the first thing,
Yeah.
in fact, if you don't introduce him as the first drop kick in China, he might get angry.
Yeah, he might get off. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you all dudes this. I actually watched a Mike Rapata show when he went to where do you go? Like Memphis or something?
Something like that.
And I watched a show, and guys, I shit you not, he did the show where Joker planted a bomb underneath the ring, and he was Superman. And bro, guys, I gotta tell you, I was entertained the whole fucking time.
Bro.
Like I wanted more. Like I'm like, is he gonna get the bomb? It's underneath the ring, you retard! Like right there.
Hey, Thrash has been canceled.
There you go. Thrash is canceled.
You can't cancel
Hold
me.
up,
You
wait
can't
a minute.
cancel me.
But you know
hold
what?
up.
Here's the thing, though. I was driving. I had to drive. This was an MPW show we did in the first MPW show. Actually, I drove Adam Pierce from San Diego up to the show, and he stopped me. And he's just like, "I got to ask. You trained with Rapata. How was it? Because I've heard nothing. I've heard bad things about him. And I had to legitimately tell him if Mike gave more of a crap about training than he did getting over,
Then birds.
he would have been the best trainer in California. Period.
Yeah.
There was
He
nothing
would.
he couldn't do. I've
He was
watched him
good.
cut countless promos with no time to prepare, and they were fantastic. Andy
Yes.
could beat him, obviously.
Yeah, I was going
But-
to say not an Andy,
Not an Andy
Jackson.
Not an Andy.
No.
But Mike, there's a reason why Andy and Mike were very good together, and it was because they were able to ad lib with each other, and the promos that Mike could cut, the matches Mike could do, and like Thrash said, the whole like Joker and Superman thing, he was pitching that to us in 2004.
I remember he wanted
thought it was
everybody to be
stupid.
a cartoon.
This
character.
cartoon thing, and that was the problem.
Yes.
And that's
That
what
was
I say
why-
about his philosophies. It
That
just
was
a
why
cartoon
Andy and I
show.
left.
Yeah.
We left
Yeah.
because of that. And I remember the last night we did a show at TJ Perkins Elementary, and it was we had just done a Halloween battle royal where we all had to wear these like rubber masks. And for some reason, Andy didn't have to go out there, but I did. And I didn't have a mask. So they just tossed a Cartman head to me, and I was wearing my regular gear.
Right.
And
Yes, I remember.
I sat in the corner moping the entire battle royal. Someone walked up to me, and I just said, "Hey, throw me out." And they did. I walked to the back. I took my head off. And Andy and I, we were starting to bond at that point, and we both knew. And we were talking, and Mike has this big meeting afterwards, and they're going, the battle royal was great. The next show, we're going to do an alien battle royal.
Yeah.
Everyone
We dressed
dresses
up
up
as
as aliens, and then we're
Wait.
going to do the battle royal. Andy and I looked at each other, didn't say a word, looked at Mike and said, "See ya."
Yeah.
And then Mike's like, "All right, bro, see you next time."
Yeah,
And no, we
wait,
meant
wait,
no.
wait,
I
wait,
meant
not-
see you
Trevor,
forever.
did not-
Yeah,
be
we
next
meant
time.
no, see ya. Without
Trevor.
even saying a word to each other, we knew. Nope,
Trevor,
we're
when
outta
you
here.
got thrown out as Eric Cartman, did you at least go, "Oh God, seriously"?
No, I was even worse. Listen, I was so bad. When I told the person to throw me out, I pulled the mask over my head so you could see my face, and I just said, "Throw me out," and covered myself. I was upset. I didn't. That's not why I wanted to be a wrestler. And listen,
Yeah.
no offense to Mike, that's what he wanted to do, and we got promised numerous things about it.
I remember.
But that's the
remember
type of
that.
wrestling he wanted to do, and
I
that's
remember,
okay.
dude, when Mike
Just
was
not for me.
pitching, when Mike was pitching these ideas to,
Is that at your house,
Well,
Brian?
it's not mine.
No,
I don't-
That's definitely not my house. I'm just. It's
Um,
what it
I'm
sounds
like, I'm in a
like.
basement. That's no way. It's me.
I'm gonna we're gonna get canceled again. I'm gonna point to the Mexican and say it's SoCal crazy living by the airport. It was
I
right. It
can't
was
deny
you, wasn't it? All right. So
you know he chops at shows, right? And you announce all the shows, right?
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
And I got to see him on Sunday. He's going to chop me just to chop you.
I love him. You know I love him. So yeah, because it was during that time, and I remember it wasn't even Mike saying the Alien Battle Royal. It was Lisa. It was his wife who was talking about the Battle Royal. So, and look, you're gonna have. Oh man, are they still together? Does anybody know? Does anybody know?
I don't know. I know that Mike no longer.
I don't know
because
I know Mike's
Trevor
no
and I,
Kelly, though.
Trevor and I have a nickname for her, and I don't want to say it if he's gonna be on the show because you guys catch a lot of crap.
Listen, we have two good friends that watch the show, and I don't know how many friends you guys have watching, but two of ours are watching right now, so we're good.
Okay.
And what's this show called?
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's what I'm saying. Look, and honestly, look, and this is funny, right? Because the other night when we were going to get inducted, I got a Facebook message from this person named Mike, and all I just saw was Mike, and I didn't know who it was. I was like, oh my god, Rapada's reaching out to me because I saw like little previews. It's like, oh, I just want to thank you guys for everything you did, and blah blah. And it wasn't Mike. It wasn't Rapada. It was Mike Kamen.
Okay. Cool.
But I thought it was Mike Rapana. I was just like, okay, that would be cool to kind of have like kind of rebuild. A little bit of a relationship there because he's a good resource to have. He just doesn't have good ideas. He was talking about having like a building an entrance way with a fire breathing dragon out of it and coming out this dragon's mouth and shit. And oh my god, it was insane.
I would have done it.
And he would, here's where the problem lies with Mike, and correct me anybody in this room if I'm wrong. He got a lot of impressionable kids, really young kids, or just really big marks that would come in and train and promise all of these great, amazing things that Saw is going to do. So it really gave you this idea of exclusivity that we were going to be better than anybody else. And everybody's going to be talking about us with all these things. And Brian was one of them. With your stupid icon gimmick, but Mike was
come to the ring in the motorcycle.
It was dumb.
Come, you'll ride your motorcycle and wear your boots. You fucking mark.
It was Jobber. Can I be Jobber of the Week?
But he did. He got a lot of people that were impressionable, and that was the problem. Is because nobody was smart enough. Like Trevor trained up with Jesse Hernandez. Nestor was like already around in this scene, but he's just he gets along with everybody, so he's not very confrontational. And so
he's a Christmas donkey, bro.
And me, sorry. And then me and Trevor were both like, we both kind of came from actual professional wrestling, like, training backgrounds. So we knew what wrestling was supposed to be. And it wasn't this. This isn't wrestling. I don't want to be a cartoon character. I want to wrestle. I want to get booked places.
I'd liken it to if oh shoot, and I just lost it. What was that restaurant in LA with the knights?
Medieval times.
Medieval times. He wanted medieval times with wrestling, but we would all dress like cartoon characters.
Ridiculous.
I'll say that Andy and I were talking. We're like, I think a medieval times type wrestling venue would be really cool, but you got to make it, real wrestling, not Eric Cartman versus a pirate.
Yeah. Now that could work. I mean, SoCal. Let me ask you this: would you take a Perfect Plex wearing full armor?
Of course he would.
I probably would.
See, he would.
He acted like he was thinking about it, but his answer was already like yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. 100%.
Perfect Plex, yes.
Get butt naked? Yes or no? Thumbtacks everywhere? Yeah.
Would you take a Perfect
Nestor
Plex
never
butt
turns
naked?
down any ideas. We hit him with a car. Nestor doesn't turn down ideas.
That's how you hit me with a car.
That's how I won the title. An Asian dude had to run him over with a car.
It was great.
Not my size. Not the fact that I had two brothers with me. No, he had to get hit by a car.
Yeah, no, that was so good.
I just wish we had lighting outside because the video sucked.
The video was terrible.
But do you know how heavy he got? Like, SoCal. Seriously, bro? When I went to pick you up, you were just like, no, I'm sandbagging this dude.
Get hit by a car.
That's because I
got hit by a car. Got hit by a goddamn car.
You couldn't move.
Give him a break.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Did it hurt you?
It did, but my mistake was
Doing it?
I'm sorry, I have to laugh because we're the ones who told him to do it, and we didn't even ask that question. We're like, oh, the spot looked good. We're good to go.
All I remember is I remember getting hit by the car, and then I couldn't stand up. Thrash literally had to come and pick me up, and he was like, "Walk, bro." I was like, "Bro, I can't walk."
All I heard was, "No, carry me." I'm like, what the fuck is this? A 90s love scene? Like, Jesus Christ.
It was great. I'll tell you what was great about that was we hit him with the car. We had this big old thing, hit him with the car. It was obviously the end of the match, this big old thing. And it must have taken Thrash like maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So there really wasn't any wrestling involved, nothing exciting happening. It was just Thrash carrying Nestor back to the ring and rolled him inside. And then when he pinned him, it still got the 1, 2, 3, which signifies just how badly SoCal Crazy was hurt. Yep. You know what I mean?
And people
meant
even
so
said,
much
not like
more.
This. There was people to say not like this.
Someone's like, no, not like this. But it was great. Oh man, it was good. It was so good.
I remember I covered them and I just laughed as I looked at the crowd. Yeah. And you could just see everyone just like pissed.
It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good.
It was good.
So I want to move over to I want to ask Andy a quick question. So with Mike Rapata, did you ever think to pitch him the Anchors Away idea? I mean, I am so glad that you didn't. If you didn't do it, because
I would not
you
have.
And Trevor, dude, wow.
Well, it's funny. So the David E. Jones character was alive and well, and so that's where I got the character. I didn't get it from Mike, but I brought it. The first time I ever did it was in Saw, because I hadn't wrestled since before I joined the Navy at that point. And when I came back, I was like, well, because I used to wrestle as a masked, just a person with a black, because I used to have long hair. So the promoter would tell me like, hey, you got to put a hood on, like you don't look good, you don't look like a bad guy with that long, pretty hair. And I was like, okay. So I put on a mask and I called myself Enigma. That was my thing. I was like 17, 18 years old.
Way to go, Icon!
I didn't know, but no, fuck you.
And he came out to the music by
the
band too.
You were 35, so you could eat my ass. You should have fucking known better. So I hadn't wrestled since I did that. So when I came back, I was like, I got to change something up. I was like, well, I am in the Navy, so maybe I can do this Davy Jones character. So I pitched the idea to Mike, and he's like, okay, that's a good idea. I was like, yeah, maybe in a couple months when you think I'm ready, I can go out and I can do a match. He's like, well, can you do it this Saturday? And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, I don't have any gear. He's like, it's all right. Just wear your Navy uniform and your dress shoes. And I was like, fuck, like I could already, that was a bad omen, but I did. I wrestled like that very next show. It was at Perkins. I wrestled at Perkins, and something just clicked. Shoes. Like the fans just hated me. I wrestled in my freaking Navy dress shoes, bro, my Cora frames. And when I came up with here's I don't know if I've told this story, but not on this podcast. So when at the time that things started kind of picking up steam and I was kind of getting booked other places, I was working with this guy named Oscar who was promoting a lot of shows called Lucha Libre Independent International, LLII. Yeah. And he would trade in wrestlers with other people in Mexico. And so I would go down to Mexico every now and then, and in Lucha Libre they do a lot of tag team stuff. So they hooked me up with this other guy in Saw, who his name is Jebediah, and I will say, like, well, I don't want to hurt Mike's feelings because maybe we'll mend a fence, but fuck Jebediah, he's an idiot. But anyway, he's like this hillbilly redneck character, and he's one of those people who's one of the impressionable kids, didn't know the business, didn't nice guy, I'm sure. He's just a fucking idiot. So we would wrestle, and he just didn't get it. He didn't understand how tag team psychology worked and all that stuff. And I was just like, shit, man, I need a partner. I need somebody who can actually work, Mm-hmm. And then the my best bet that would make sense as a heel, right? Was Jalapeno, yes. was Trevor. And so I remember I called him up and I said, listen, and I got this is probably like right after we were going to leave Saw anyway. Yeah. And I called him up and I said, listen, I got this spot open. You'd be perfect for it. We'll call you Petty Officer Ryan Stone, because he was already going by Ryan Stone in Saw. And I said,
remember the first name you pitched me?
What was it?
You wanted me to be Petty Officer Ryan Jones.
Oh, I probably did.
Really?
Oh.
Look, how cool. Look, fuck you. That would have been a good idea.
Ryan Stone works so good because it was like,
well, it's Ryan Stone. It's like Ryan Stone.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know.
I heard people booing Ryan Stone, boo Ryan Stone.
He should have been a cowboy. The Ryan Stone cowboy.
Well,
No, the gimmick wouldn't have worked.
it's funny because, and I remember this inside joke happened before I came to Saw, but back then he just had his little slap pants and this cheap ass pants, and he had Ryan on the side of it, and he always wore a blue shirt because he was fat, and he had the shirt would always cover up he would always cover up the R, so everybody would just call him Jan Stone.
I think it was either SoCal Crazy or Thrash started that.
It was
really
Matt
funny.
Twisted. Matt Twisted started calling you Jan
Was it
Stone.
Twisted?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
you at SoCal called me that the most though. Thrash.
Oh yeah.
It was really funny. But so I told
Jan.
Jan. So
Hey Jan.
so me and Trevor just started doing this stuff pretty much after we had already decided to leave. So no, and I'm glad we didn't do anything in Saw because a lot of the stuff we started to do really wouldn't have been allowed anyway.
Yeah.
Like Mike would have been really upset at us. We were a very unique team.
Mike may have tried to take that and used it for the next guys to come in behind you, though, too.
Oh yeah, he would have been pissed if we took it elsewhere.
Oh,
He would have.
Oh,
He
yeah.
would have been.
Oh, yeah.
In fact,
Absolutely.
and I remember talking to Mike right when I started to get booked in Mexico, and I had to ask him permission. I was like, "Is this okay if I go work somewhere else too?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, just don't remember where you came from. Basically like still give me your loyalty for the most part." I'm just like,
Right.
kind of crummy. But yeah, so no, believe me, and I'm very glad that Trevor and I never did anything in Saw together.
The hard part was knocking the Saw stink off of you.
Yes.
I hate saying that because there was a lot of good people there, but a lot of the other promoters around it, SoCal Thrash, you could probably attest to this. If they knew you were from Saw, they would kind of just disregard you.
They'd look right past you.
Like
got hated on
SoCal
a
didn't
lot.
have a problem with it because he was established.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For Andy, Thrash, and I, Saw established us. And so it was we were just the guys from Saw. And when Saw guys would go elsewhere, there were some great ones that would come out and do some really good matches, but there were some that would come out and just shit the bed.
Yes.
And so there was a tiny bit of a stink on the Saw guys, and it sucked. So we actually had to knock that stink off. We really only got booked in lucha shows, like Andy mentioned from Oscar, and SoCal helped as well. Our first number of matches, there's a reason why we got the tattoos together. Our first number of matches as Anchors Away were against SoCal Crazy and Matt Twisted. It was those matches that got other promoters looking at us. And that's how we got into the EWF, AWS, Battleground, and all these other promotions. It was because of those matches.
Yeah.
But those matches needed to happen to knock the stink off of us. EWF, AW, they weren't calling us when we were Saw guys. They saw us at lucha shows. So there was like, okay, maybe these guys aren't terrible.
Yeah, we were.
I remember even going to New Wave for day one. Because Trevor was like, "Hey, dude, I'm starting my own promotion with David E. Jones," and I'm like, "Who is that?" Because I actually didn't know Andy. I did not know Andy from Saw because I had left at the infamous Belmont show, I remember I walked up and I remember Andy was like, "Oh, you're one of the first Saw guys? Oh yeah, I don't think you should be here." And I was like, well, shit, I didn't even get to do anything. And Trevor's like, no, dude, trust me. He's like, he's good. And I think SoCal was there too. And SoCal even stood up for me. So, I think it was that night Andy and I became friends because we started talking. And I think what makes Andy and I click so well is because I think we have the same brain. and I honestly think that trickles onto Trevor too, because I think like the three of us, we have the same brain. So like all of a sudden we'll look at each other and we'll be like, dude, it'd be hilarious. And then like the other person will finish what we were thinking.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
man.
scary.
But like knocking that stink off of you, it sucked. And like I said at the ceremony, if it wasn't for Andy and Trevor saying like, hey, like Thrash, like you need to come here, you need to be the guy, I wouldn't even be talking to you. I'd be like, I had one match at Saw. It was great.
I had one match at Saw.
Yeah, no, I'd be fucking Brian. That's who I would be. Fucking Brian.
That's the worst.
Listen,
I'd
hold
be
on.
too.
I'm drinking Bud Light. I'm not trying to get it shoved up.
Oh my god.
Jalapeno has had more
princess
matches
over
than Brian. Oh shit.
So Saw was a good time though. It wasn't. I really can't crap on it too much. We had a lot of fun.
Yes.
I mean, as weird as it got towards the end, it started off very pure. You know,
Trevor made the slogan for Saw.
Oh yeah, I built the whole original website.
Trevor made the slogan for Saw.
I remember you built the website.
What is it?
It's not around anymore.
It was SAW will bring the saw.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean, Trevor?
We'll bring the saw.
Means bring the chainsaw so you can fucking tear down the ring with the chainsaw so no one ever has to see our fucking shitty wrestling anymore.
That's another thing.
I love
too.
that ring though.
That ring was just in shambles. I have never seen a worse, and I've been to lucha shows. I have never seen a worse ring.
Like I said,
where did
it was
where
comfy.
did he get it?
Like it was a good bump and all that, but man, it was just like all these different pieces, and it was Frankenstein together.
Yeah.
Oh,
it took forever to build.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated building the ring. The ring that listen, me and Andy had to take one down one time at my house because
really needs to go catch that ring.
All of a sudden you hear,
hey, Socal, they're looking for you.
That's just my cocaine shipment coming in.
That's what it is.
I'm not supposed
It's
to
his
start
Mexican
those.
brothers coming down the road.
It's a me.
all of a sudden it's going to turn into the ending scene of Born in East LA.
Oh, geez.
Those Socal crazy forever. Holmes.
The best, I think the best ring to put up and take down was actually the New Wave ring. That was a big ring.
Yes,
Man,
that was a big
heavy
ring.
That was a
wooden
heavy
one?
ring. The
Oh
New
my
Wave
God,
ring?
yes.
Those
Dude,
ring posts were like 100,
It was
150
insane.
pounds
It was
a piece?
because it was all because the ring posts were like incredibly. They were solid steel, and then you had the ring. Unlike and I haven't seen. It was us and AWS is the only other place I've seen it, but our ring was a wooden ring.
yes.
The bulk majority of rings are all steel.
That AWS ring though was a Jim Crockett Promotions ring.
I want to say ours was too. Somebody had said that our ring was at one point owned by like Ric Flair or something.
Yeah,
And the New Wave
I'm
ring
sure it was all
was
BS,
bigger, wasn't it? Wasn't it a
It
little
was
bit
bigger.
bigger?
It was a 20
It was
20 foot
bigger,
ring.
yeah.
20-foot ring.
Yeah.
And it was great. I love that ring. Absolutely
Yes.
love that ring. But man, it was a monster. It was
yeah.
All right. I have a
Sorry.
question. All right. So far, we've asked every one of you guys on who was the better, talker out of all you, and all you guys have said the same one, Andy. Even Socal even said it. Now, the question is who's the better wrestler?
Oh, can I go first?
Socal.
Can I go first?
Oh
So-
God,
Can I go first?
SoCal,
Socal.
It's definitely SoCal.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
100%.
1000%.
He's the best one around. Period. Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys,
look where SoCal's been. Look who he's
Yeah.
wrestled. I mean, he got to wrestle Rey Mysterio Jr. and Damien 666 in the same match. Like,
He's
I
gotta
respect
go
the hell
find
out
that,
of you
man.
guys, but I'm going to tell you, like, it's all SoCal.
yeah,
nobody could touch him. And
Thanks,
and
Brian.
I remember like when
Icon.
we were coming up, when me and Trevor were coming up, we felt like not necessarily in awe, but we were like, we're kind of big deals because we're here with SoCal Crazy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, and it was like we were kind of marking out, having like something that we would like call a friendship. It's just like, oh my, this guy knows us, and he thinks we're cool. But he was just, he was back then, and he is now. He's just probably one of the most intelligent and talented performers you'll ever work with.
Yep.
And he's incredibly safe, and he doesn't hurt people.
But as you saw on Saturday,
that's all his spots.
As you saw on Saturday, he can't do a dive to save his life.
That was our fault.
especially when there's cake in the ring.
That was It was funny because on that show, Nestor does the dive and he just he shits the bed, and I'm talking like I was just like, God, that sucks. Like he's not ready to come back and all that. And then he comes back to the back. He's like, I slipped on your fucking cake.
Oh, you guys made a mess in the ring.
We try not. That's why we did the spot on the apron so he wouldn't make that mess. And I think when we did that, impressive. He was kind of leaning in a little bit too far or something like that. And then it got on the apron. The idea was to have it kind of surround his face and splash out the back. That didn't happen.
It just
It plopped on.
it just fell.
It
Should have
fell
just
on
let
the-
me
on the
choke
apron.
slammed him.
Yeah.
Now,
That would have been better.
me and Brian were talking before you guys got on here. Now, why didn't you guys get to be able to do? And I don't know what your finishing move is called. Anyways,
Locker.
okay. See, why didn't you guys get to do that on Mr. Impressive?
Because he's
okay,
wimpy.
yeah.
He's wimpy. He's
No,
very skinny and frail.
Yeah.
And so if they were to do that on him, he'd break.
He's not jacked at all.
He's not jacked at all. He has no muscle.
I told Mark, I said, you got to read the crowd. The crowd absolutely 100% wanted that.
They did.
And
well,
they did.
When we pitched the okay, so there's a long story behind it, but I'll try to sum it up. So
this big.
Yeah, that's long for me.
Haven't
it's
you seen
a
his
good
TikToks?
size.
According to his wife, it is.
2 inches is good, right?
When we originally pitched the idea, because we knew we had to do something with Mr. Impressive once we got announced for the Hall of Fame, because he had already announced he was going to be in the Hall of Fame. And at that time, Jeff Dino didn't even know we were going to be inducted. I think it happened at a good time because Trevor was going to be in town.
Yep.
So we knew we had to do something with Impressive in this whole thing. And the reason Mr. Impressive, like you haven't seen him, I don't think I've ever seen one match of his, but he was wrestling for a little while and then he got hurt. He got badly injured, and he's still recouping from that injury. So
skinny and frail.
When we brought up this idea to do something Mr. Impressive, he just got cleared. Like he just got medically cleared to wrestle. And so I pitched the idea and I was like, listen, because I talked to him and I said, listen, why don't we do this? You come out and we do this whole thing, and then at the end of it we give you the locker. And he said, listen, I rolled around the ring a little bit and I just don't feel like I'm ready to take it. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to hurt you. So, he's not ready. And that's a very smart move for wrestlers to do is be vocal when they don't think they're going to be ready to take the move. So I said, okay, well, instead we'll do this thing with the cake, but we still want to do the move. Like I think the crowd will like it if we do the move. So we have to have something else out. So that's why that other guy was out there with him. He was out there specifically just to take that move.
I wanted to take it, but they were like, no, you're inducting us. And I'm like, I don't care.
And you're way too fat to get over. I can't.
I can do it. I can do it. Hey,
this is the
not with our
how crazy can give me a Canadian destroyer. I can take the locker at 40.
No, listen, Thrash. We know the real reason you didn't want to take it. It's because we refused to take the Tornado of Souls again. That's what it was.
Horrible.
It's a horrible move.
That is so good.
It hurts.
Remember when we all hit and it was just all three of us just like,
So Thrash, I got to tell you, and this is that was my last year wrestling. That was 2014.
Yeah.
I was in 24/7 back pain that entire year.
Because of Tornado of Souls?
No. Leading up into that match, I was already hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And so every bump hurt, every move hurt. It didn't matter if I wasn't sleeping. I was going to work in constant pain. So it didn't matter if it was just a hip toss. It would have hurt.
Well, I mean, when you got to carry Andy for all those years. I mean,
that's what it is.
Dude.
Back hurts from carrying me all over the place. Yeah. Because I wasn't a good wrestler.
Yes, you were. Stop saying that.
I wasn't.
Okay.
Don't ever say you're not a good wrestler.
Andy, you've been in the ring a few times since, you retired and stuff. Trevor, how did it feel to be in that ring and just to be able to do that at least one last time?
It sucked. No,
yeah, how's your body feel?
I am not even joking. I'm not even joking. I was sore from that one move.
Yeah.
It sucks, and it sucks that I've got COVID now. And sorry, everybody, if it was me that brought it.
No,
because every cough hurts my ribs today. It sucks. And we gave
I gotta
one
tell
move.
you, just doing the raffle, just doing the freaking raffle at Socal Pro. The next day, I'm sore. My hips, my knees, my feet. I'm like, I didn't even do anything.
Because you're
I
old.
sold raffle tickets.
Yeah, you're old. In this business, you get old very quickly.
Well, SoCal,
Very
so
quickly.
that was your first dive in years. How did you feel on Sunday?
Well, he hated it because you tripped on your cake.
No, but
You know what?
legit,
I was very nervous because I knew everybody was going to be watching, and when I mean by everybody, not so much the audience, but more everybody in the back.
Yeah.
I think everybody was curious to see if I could still pull anything off, So I was extremely nervous. I had those. It felt like my very first match all over again. Sitting in gorilla position, and I was pacing back and forth. I was trying to stretch, just trying not to think about it. The cake never even came into my head. I never even thought that the fucking cake was there. So I was, literally I was pacing back and forth. I got the cue to go out, I went out, luckily, I received a really good pop. And then as I came into the ring, I saw the cake and a huge wet spot. So I saw it and I was like, I'm going to have to jump a little bit sooner than expected. But for some reason, when I was getting geared up and I ran, I stepped exactly where that wet spot is and I lost my footing. And but the good thing though is I'm kind of glad it happened because I was able to brace myself and I was able to like protect myself. So that was actually more of a test to see where my body was at, honestly. So I was lucky enough to land on my feet. I walked away. So it was good. It felt good, man. I mean, it just felt good. It felt good to just be a part of that whole segment,
The next day, you felt good the next day?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I felt good. I wasn't sore or anything. Everything's been going good. Like training I've been training a lot for this return. So I think everything is coming back to normal.
Good.
And plus, I wasn't there to catch you. I know that you always aim for me. He always aims for me.
I don't know why.
Because you're the biggest target.
You're the softest target.
Like every time he goes to dive, like I'll be in the audience on the other side, and he'll turn and look at me, and I'll be like, "No!"
He's supposed
They're over there.
Those are your opponents.
Yeah, but I'm going to need you over here. Just come on around.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he looks at me like on Sunday and he goes,
"Yeah, come over here, sir."
Fuck.
SoCal, what's coming up for you? What's in the pipeline? What do you got planned? Anything? I mean, match wise, is there anything that you want us to watch out for? I mean, we're gonna watch all the matches and everything, but anything new?
No, I mean, other than just I'm really eager to get back to it, and I've been blessed enough with a lot of bookings and stuff. I'm really looking more forward to my actual, I guess my re-entry into Socal Pro. I mean, I'm really fortunate and blessed, and I'm very thankful that all these other companies are reaching out to me and wanting me to participate in their events. But I'm really, really looking forward to when I can return to the Socal Pro ring and start working there. That's always been like my that's always been like the goal for me. Like I appreciate all the other companies, but Socal Pro is it's like I told you guys in the podcast interview you guys did, like that's always been family to me. So I'm just very, if I were to pick one, that'd be the one that I would actually really, really advertise for people,
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. But the door's still open for you to go to those other promotions and stuff too. I don't think that you're going to be held back in any fashion.
Follow him on Instagram. He's announcing new matches like every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw like EWF. I saw some VW. I think VWE. I saw.
Yeah.
He's got more bookings. He's got more bookings than coming back from surviving cancer than I think I ever did in my entire 10 years. It's like Jesus Christ.
But that's awesome. But you see, that's what everyone. That's how he was the whole time. Like everybody wanted SoCal Crazy.
Everybody.
You saw him everywhere. Lucha shows. Yeah. I mean, you would see SoCal Wrestling at a Lucha show in front of 6 people on Saturday, and then you'd see him at an EWF show in front of 100 people on Sunday. Yeah. Like totally different audiences, totally different parts of California. Like
you'd see him on every flyer. If you followed him on any kind of social media, every flyer that like would come out for just wrestling companies, you'd see SoCal Crazy on there, whether it be his name or an actual picture of him. It's insane how much bookings he gets.
I think Mike handed us some flyers one time. We went to a show at the Boys and Girls Club to hand out, and it was, I think it was for Perkins or something. And it was like, hey, come out to the show. We're going to have, was it Matt and SoCal at the time?
Probably.
Maybe that was one of those matches, and that was our headliner right there. And I was just like, I'm handing out flyers and having the wrestlers come out and just going, who the fuck are you?
So that was supposed to be the first one of the matches at the very first SoCal Pro show was SoCal Crazy versus Matt Twisted. But
Yeah.
Matt
that's
Twisted no-showed. Turns out all he had was an ingrown hair and went to the doctor to get it pulled out. And that's a shoot. That's real.
Yep.
And so New Wave Dave took Matt Twisted's place.
New Wave Dave.
New
And,
Wave Dave.
it was
Wave
funny.
Dave.
Andy and I were sitting in the
Fuck.
audience wearing our New Wave Pro Wrestling gear because we just had our debut show the month prior, and then Jeff did his in April. SoCal Pro and New Wave actually started at a Chick-fil-A in Oceanside. It was me, Andy, and Jeff sitting around a table going, listen,
We could do better.
Saw's
than
not
this.
cutting it. We
Yeah.
need to bring wrestling back to San Diego and not this cartoony stuff.
Yeah.
And we all sat around and it was like, okay, we're going to do this. And Andy and I took the South, Jeff took the North, and that's how it happened. But it was supposed to be SoCal versus Matt Twisted. Matt didn't show, so we get a text or a call, and it was just like, hey, can one of you work tonight? And we're sitting in the audience.
This is during the show.
This is during the show.
During the show.
And so Andy goes back there. Neither of us had our gear. So Andy wrestled in a New Wave Pro Wrestling shirt and jeans. And so he gets in the ring, and the ring announcer's like, hey, what's your name? And he goes, David E. Jones, representing New Wave Pro Wrestling. And the ring announcer, gotcha. New Wave Dave.
By the way, that ring announcer was Charles Gibb.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
What they call him? Something is it Diamond?
Charles
Chuck
Steele?
Steele.
Chuck Steele.
Steele. What a fuck. You know what? And I heard nothing but good things about him, and God bless him. But I hate that dude to this day. I hate him.
Because he called
How
you New
lazy-
Wave
New Wave
How
Dave.
Dave.
lazy could you possibly be? Like, just to, think of like on the fly, like, oh, this is a good idea. Oh, New Wave Dave. Like, who's this guy going to be anyway? You know.
Bro,
But it
That
was
is
yeah.
great.
But
But-
I'll tell you a funny story about that. At the time, Jeff. So Jeff didn't go into SoCal Pro on his own. Like he had another promoter that was helping him. What was his name?
DeLorean.
Dave
DeLorean,
DeLorean.
yeah.
Dave DeLorean. So Dave DeLorean was a well-known meth addict, like just 100% balls to the wall. He was always ballooned off his tits. And I remember going to the back. To talk to Jeff because he asked us, it's like, hey, can you work? And Dave DeLorean, who didn't want to book us on the show anyway, pulled me aside and said, in his with one tooth, said, he's like, I'll let you do it for the better of the business. And I was just like, cool, that's great, Dave.
It's either that or you got no match, right?
See that
Right.
one tooth. You see that one tooth like fucking flap in the wind.
Yeah, it was.
You're
Yeah,
like,
it was.
it's this is it. This is when that tooth falls out.
That
This
tooth is
it.
out. I'm so lonely. There was,
Round me, I shall round me.
but yeah, so and I remember like thinking like this dude, and he smelled like, and I don't know if you ever been around heroin, but he smelled like heroin, like like this dude.
You ever walk by that dumpster, like when they're cleaning out the grease trap of like
Yeah.
McDonald's? That's
Right.
what he smelled like.
Smelled just like
Fucking
that.
terrible.
Smelled like a Matt Thrash fart.
Yeah, it's just awful. But yeah, he made it seem like he was doing me a favor by letting me wrestle in my t-shirt and jeans. It's like, dude, I'm trying to help out Jeff. Like, shut up.
I just been like, hey, Mike, I appreciate the words of encouragement there.
Yeah, well, it's funny too because like during the match sucked. I wasn't ready for it, and I
Didn't you
just
hit
like
your head?
I don't
and your
remember if
neck-
I
and
hit
your
my
SoCal
head.
SoCal did a
was all
dive
over the
onto
place.
you. You caught him, and I just remember hearing a thud, and I thought it was from the bump on the floor. It
I
was
probably
his
hit my head.
smacking the back of his head, smacking the
And I,
gymnasium.
you know what? And I'll tell you, look, I don't. Other than the match sucking, I don't remember anything about that match.
And
It's
that's
very
why.
possible that happened, and I just remember. I know for sure my ass came out
All night.
because I have the flattest ass in the world. And
No,
so it doesn't
I
matter
have
what
the
pair of
flattest
jeans-
ass in the
Oh, well, we're right there. I mean, just
All right,
it's a
girls,
back with a hole.
calm down.
Sorry, no me.
I have the flattest ass.
I have the
And
Hank
it's hairy.
Hill ass.
But yeah, no, that was So
Gotta
technically,
narrow
I was
your reading.
I was at I wrestled on the very first SoCal Pro show, which is kind of cool, right?
And
You
then
know,
Jeff
going
didn't
back
book
on it
us
now.
again for 9 months.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, because just like everybody else, we had that. We still had that
Stink.
kind of stigma,
Yeah.
and plus all the stuff we did in the beginning of our career was all like comedy stuff, like
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of comedy stuff because we couldn't wrestle.
But
we
it
weren't good
worked
at it.
so good, though. I mean,
It did.
it was just so fucking good.
If you could, everyone says your character should always be a yourself with it turned up to 11. what was that for us was the comedy.
Yeah.
The serious Anchors Away was done as a last resort because we were getting pigeonholed as comedy acts.
Yeah.
And that's not what we wanted.
No.
And so that was the only reason we stopped doing the comedy as much and went right to being serious, was because we changed gear, we changed everything.
We did. We
Because
changed our whole look around.
I will tell you guys this though, like when I had the opportunity to wrestle Andy and Trevor at any lucha show, like any lucha shows that we did, they were like probably by far the most hated tag team on the roster. No, like in any company, any lucha company that we did.
That's crazy.
And they made
That's a good time though.
They made my job so easy, so easy.
So I remember we did a show. It was called what was Virgil's show, like Super Awesome Showdown Wrestling?
Shining Burning Wrestling.
That's what it was. Shining,
so we did the
Burning
first
Wrestling.
Shining Burning Wrestling, and my match was, I think it was me and Maldacito versus the Anchors and Matt Twisted. And
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that match because I got yelled at by Twisted right afterwards.
Yeah,
And I yelled at
match.
Maldacito right afterwards.
I remember that match
match.
because the kids you chased around the ring, Andy, were the kids of my boss at the time. And the next day, she said that in the morning meeting.
Oh,
She was like, yeah. So we went to Thrash's wrestling match yesterday, and I don't know who the guy was that chased my kids around the ring, and I was like, oh fuck, that was Andy. Yeah. Oh my god. And she was like, who was that, Thrash? I'm like, I don't know. That was the first time I ever worked him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Whoever that guy is. Well, look.
But now I would have been like, that was fucking Andy, bitch. Fuck you. Sit the fuck down.
That's right. That's right. Look, you listen. There's a reason that we did the stuff that we did, and we pushed the envelope a lot, right? And I always go back. To like my first real memory in wrestling. Really wanted me to get into the sport was watching Earthquake and Jake the Snake, when Earthquake sat on the snake and made.
I remember that.
Jake broke down and like, how can this monster do this to this poor defenseless animal? And then when I learned it was all like a ruse, it was still like, it was even better because it's like, man, this guy made me really feel feelings. That's that magic in wrestling. And nowadays, like, even the time that we were in it, the wrestling has been, it's so exposed. It's not even funny. So everybody knows, you know what I mean? Even like when the crowd like cheers and boos, it's not even necessarily like they're so invested as they know they have a role to play. That's their job to cheer.
They also pipe it in now.
Right. Well, they do. Yeah, they do. They piped it in then. That's
but we didn't know. Back then.
Of course, we didn't know that.
We didn't have the dirt sheets and everything else, and all of these other people telling us what to,
And those things, believe me, I feel like they really ruined the
They
wrestling.
did. They did.
But so you have to do something else that is different than what they're used to, and make them feel that magic again. And for us, because we were bad guys. Because this is why people hated us so much, because we weren't afraid to push that envelope or make kids cry or chase kids around the building or say, racial things, especially if we were losing. This was all part of the psychology. Like the audience is going to be happy, what I mean, regardless. So we're going to go out there and we're going to really make them hate us. So they love this person that we're working. And that's why, and I will say that this was the reason that we were getting booked as often as we were toward the later stage of our careers, because we were able to go in there virtually with anybody and make them the biggest heroes in the world because people hated us so much.
We actually, one of the bookers of a promotion in Southern California pulled us aside and was just like, I love you guys. And he's like, it's because I could put you in. And it's a compliment, but a little bit of a backhanded one as well. He's like, I could put you in there with a brand new green team. You're going to take care of them and you're going to get them over because the crowd hates you so much. Yeah. And I could have you guys lose, and you still don't lose your status with the fans as a believable heel team. If you lose, everyone expects you to lose when you come out there. But we were still able to use what we were doing to get our opponents over, because that was the goal. It wasn't just us; it's both of us. And the backhanded compliment is basically, hey, I could job you guys out, and you still are going to be over with the fans.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is you guys were the last true tag team, like in wrestling. Like if you think about it now, if you look at tag team wrestling, it's all like, oh, Joe Blow is teaming up with right. Jack Black or whatever, and it's just like, I don't care that these two are together. Like literally, Andy and Trevor said, you know what? We need to look at guys like the Nasty Boys, the Legion of Doom. We need to look at what were those one dudes?
The Ballards.
The Ballards, yeah.
Love it.
Like they just looked at all these teams and they said, how do we get that magic? And God damn it, Andy, I swear to God, man, you are a wrestling genius. And like the way you can just come up with stuff, like this is how Andy comes up with stuff. And I'm gonna let you guys in on this secret. We would go over to his house and we'd like probably stay up until like 2-3 in the morning playing Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. And then Andy would like he'd get the idea, and you'd see him, and he'd light up, and he'd be like, Thrash, let's go to J-Bo's. And I'd be like, okay, let's go. And as we're getting J-Bo's, like he's like, you know what would be great? And he'd come up with the idea. And like I remember we came up with the Chuck E. Cheese promo that way. Yeah. We came up with just all this shit. Like, you should have like a band of brothers, Thrash. Like what would Thrash's family be like? And I'm like, holy shit. Like what would a family of Rotten Ronnies be like? And like seriously, every time, let's go to J-Bo's.
There's always J-Bo's.
Every time he said J-Bo's, I knew the idea was there.
J-Bo's is Jack in the Box for the layman.
Yes.
So in case you don't know, but that's what
we don't have them here.
But you don't have Jack in the Box?
No,
you have
not yet.
Parties?
No, they are coming to
Carl's
Florida.
Jr.
They are coming to Florida though. But right now,
Jack in the Crack is coming, but we're gonna wait a little while. But I know Jack in the Box. My wife is a huge fan of their tacos for some fucking reason.
Well, look, and I'll tell you why. Because especially like if you go out to a party, or you go out to a club or whatever, and you're coming home piss ass drunk, nothing is better than those tacos at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
It is the best comfort food in the world.
Oh, so we're not going to Trash Taco? I mean, Del Taco.
Oh,
Del Taco.
If you want to pee out your butt,
I will
go to
not
Del Taco.
sit here and listen to the fucking Del Taco slang.
Del Taco is awful. What are you talking about? That's like the worst.
No, trust me, I know.
When was the
I
last
ate
time
there
my
once,
wife in here.
Once.
I'm about
One
to
of the funny things that kept happening when Andy and Trevor had when New Wave was going around, they had a school, and I was blessed to be a trainer there from time to time, and I would work. I mean, we would all work our asses off like that. Whatever night I was there, we would always work out tremendously.
Those are
One
hard
of the things that
trainings.
always pissed me off was the guys like, "Cool, we're done. We can go to Taco Bell now." And that would always piss me off.
Taco. We would go out. We'd have great workouts and stuff at training, and we would just be like, sweating and got a great workout in and felt like really good and energized. And we'd all just go fuck it all up at Taco Bell.
That's
But you look at somebody like, I'll tell you what, the ringleader on that was Rick Ellis.
Rick Ellis.
Rick Ellis is the Taco Bell fiend.
He was
one
the
that
man
was
of Taco Bell, and we still talk about it to this day. This is probably like 15 years ago that he would talk about like this one trip he had at Taco Bell, and the next day he took a dump like 6 times. So anytime I was just like, hey bro, I miss you, we should hang out again, and then we'd always like hashtag 6 dumps. Yep. That was like our thing.
6 dumps.
But yeah, the new wave family like convened at Taco Bell. That was our thing. It shows. We were. Well, I remember this is a funny story. We invited this kid over who was training with us to come over to our house, and we were just hanging out with this kid, and he was one of our students. And at the time we were like all bored, and we were all smoking pot. We were stoned off our ass, and then we ordered this pizza, this big old fattening pizza from Papa John's. I want to say it's like a chicken cordon bleu pizza. It was just like the worst awful pizza, and it was delicious. But I remember like as we were placing the order, I turned to Trevor and I was just like, "We have no business being trainers. Like we are no good for anybody." So we came up with like a training session for the next the next time we were doing training. We're like, the first thing you got to do is drink a lot of butter. we had no business.
None.
No business.
Well, the best part was when we were sitting there baked off our ass ordering pizza, we were talking about dieting and the right things to eat.
But drink this butter.
Pizza right into the butter sauce. First thing you got to do is a lot of butter.
Drink a lot of butter.
I mean, if that's the case, you guys actually started keto, right?
In a sense,
Basically.
yeah.
If
Before
you
we knew
started
we-
drinking butter, you guys started keto.
yeah, we were the originators of keto. Yeah, but
So who was that student? Was that the guy that
That is not somebody we are allowed to name at this point.
no, we
Oh,
can't
okay,
talk
that
about
wasn't the
it.
guy Baby Slim picked up and he threw him out of the ring and he landed like chest first on the floor.
No, I don't know.
I don't remember
No,
that.
that was little Nestor.
Yes, little
Who-
Nestor.
Who was little?
was that?
Oh, Nestor. Yeah, that kid was like
really skinny
11,
kid? Yeah,
right?
the
He
really
was
skinny
young.
Yeah.
kid.
He was really young. Yeah, I
Y'all
remember
are
that.
y'all over here trying to kill kids and shit. I mean,
But we
come on.
we had a bunch of like little kids, like a
Ryan
lot
Kidd
of little
was
kids.
training with us at 13.
13.
Yeah.
I-
He's in his 30s now, right? Something like
28.
That's crazy. Huh?
Yeah.
He's about to be
28.
28.
about to be,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Just
So-
nuts.
So we talked about Rick Ellis. We kind of touched on Rick. He was actually supposed to be here tonight, guys. I apologize. His kid's got a ball game.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
he said something
evidently
about-
that's more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, when he says
Kids,
his kid has a ball game, he's just playing with his balls at home.
I
That's
I
what
got
he's
you.
doing.
It's his
I
ball
also
And I hope he's watching and he's watching going, fucking thrash. I'm gonna put him in a crippler crossfax.
and guys, I had also reached out to Fernando. He
Oh, yeah.
says, "What's up?"
Yeah.
He was going to try to do a little video thing. He's actually traveling in Canada.
Oh, Jay. Yeah.
That
Jay,
figures.
yeah.
Well, that dude is
Yeah.
like, you know, he
That
got like this
guy's
really
popular.
good career.
That guy's famous.
He's like
Yeah,
a stunt. He's like a stunt
He's-
worker.
Yes.
Stunt guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So
He does-
good
he
for
does really
him.
good.
But you know, these guys absolutely respect you, and I'm sure that they would love for me to pass along congratulations on your induction.
Appreciate that.
Rick Ellis actually came up Saturday to the show. And
Beautiful.
Ariel
stayed,
Star.
stayed for the
And Ariel
induction. So
Star.
it was really good to
Dude, that's
see him.
really cool.
Him and Ariel Star came, and
That's
that was
awesome.
one of our big feuds that we did in New Wave. Was
They,
Rick Ellis and
they
Ariel
were our
Star.
first tag team champions, Rick Ellis and
And it was like it was like a year-long feud we did between them.
That's
He's a
really
good-
cool.
And you know, here's a story for you.
Oh no.
Oh shit!
So-
Get a story.
So here's a new wave story. So why Andy and Trevor say they should have been trainers? Probably so. Trevor tried to convince Ariel Star to come out to the moniker Sunset Flip.
No.
Now why this is kind of funny is because Henry is Filipino.
Flip. Yeah.
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 Flip.
Yeah.
No. But I didn't want that to be his moniker. I wanted that to be his finish. But
So
with
so
him and
the
Lokura,
Sunset
here's where I
Flip-
did tell him. So there was a guy that we had named Lokura who was doing a crazy character. Well, at Socal Pro, Ariel Star and Lokura were tag team. I didn't want it to be. Yes, it was a what's the word, double entendre or something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted their team name to be Flipping Crazy,
Flipping crazy.
but not
Yeah.
like
Oh,
flip
yeah.
and crazy, like flipping, like because Ariel Star does dives, flipping crazy.
We all
But
knew.
I wanted the
Yeah.
double entendre with it.
We all knew.
We all
Hey,
knew.
oh, everyone knew, and they wouldn't. Well, it was gonna happen, but Jeff had a friend who was just like, "No,
No.
put the kibosh
Absolutely.
on it." No, Henry
that
was
would've-
in on it.
That would have been awesome.
Henry would have done it. Like
He wanted
Ariel
to.
Star would have done it, which is amazing. And like the fact that he can like say, "I'll do it." Like it's like, dude, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had some good people. We
was
had,
awesome.
Yeah.
we were fortunate enough to work with a lot of really cool people.
We New Wave was a great group. By far, I say it all the time. Like New Wave was my favorite place to work.
It was
Did-
fun. It was
Who
fun.
did New Wave sell out to? Where did the ring and the name and
Well,
all
I'll
that?
okay, so I'm gonna tell you the story. So at the time, and we're still like I don't know if we're still beefing. I don't talk to him anymore. But this other guy named Gus who runs FCW. He and I'll say this and
He's a walking dumpster. Is
well,
what
okay,
he is.
he's interesting, but I'll say because I don't want to cast aspersions, but I will say this. I'm very opinionated, all right, and I don't hide things very well. So if somebody asks me about something, or if I think you're a piece of shit, I'll tell you you're a piece of shit. I don't beat around the bush, even if you're my friend, right? So there was a time that throughout our relationship, me and Gus never really, we got along, that we didn't get along, Anyway, so at the time we were getting along, he was running FCW, and he was talking about starting up FCW.
Yeah.
And
It was like Fat Kathy Wrestling or something. I don't know.
So I had said something. I can't remember what it was, but somebody had said something about his character, and I reposted it, and I said, yes, this is the kind of person he is. We were getting along at the time, and at that time, he got really irritated with us. And at the time, we were training in a backyard. You know, not Brian's backyard, but we were training in another backyard. He came to this person's house and tried to get us kicked out of there. This is right before New Wave was leaving. You know, maybe a couple of months. And
My dog.
God damn it. So right before we were all going, and then we found out that the owner told us, like, hey, this guy came in and said all this stuff about you, and he's trying to get you kicked out of here. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So we walked down the hill to start training, whatever, and all these FCW flyers are in our ring. Like, this is the cheesiest shit you can do. Yeah. So whatever. So we didn't pay it no mind. We didn't do anything with it. And then like maybe like 2 months later, that lady sold the house. Yeah. And after we didn't find out she sold the house, but she sold the house. She sold the house, and then we went into the backyard again to like at least get our ring back, and the ring was in pieces, and people had auctioned it off and sold it and sold these different scraps. Yeah,
like now, all the ropes were gone, like half of the metal underneath was gone,
and it was a pile of wood on the floor. Yeah. And look, and I'm not, and I can't say unequivocally it was Gus, but I know Gus messed with our ring before, and I was just like, okay, this is kind of, it kind of meshed in well with that.
Somebody was it Twisted that found the posting?
Yeah, I think it was, and he like goes, hey guys, just to let you know,
that's what it was.
Your ring is on Craigslist.
Somebody had posted it on Craigslist. I was like, what the hell is that? And then
yes, it's free wrestling ring.
We went down it and found it in pieces. So, again, I don't know. It could have been the owner for the house of all I know, but I don't want to like cast blame, but that's what I think happened.
I'll cast blame. Fuck you, Gus. I fucking hate you.
No,
yeah. There we go. There's our.
There you go. You wanted a talking shit show? That's talking shit, Gus.
But there's our reel right there for this week.
At the shows, we never used that ring anyway. We used it for like maybe
we did
2 shows. One show. We used one show with that ring because it was just such a beast to carry around, and we had to rent like at least like a 24-foot trailer just to get it to shows, and it was just wasn't worth it. So we paid Jeff to use his ring.
It was cheaper to hire Jeff to use his ring than it was to rent trucks and get our ring there.
Yeah. So we never really used our ring anyway. It was just for training. And at that time, we were just kind of thinking about like leaving anyway. There was like a time we had Johnny Yuma. Also had a wrestling ring in his backyard just to train for himself. And I said, listen, man, I'll give you a couple $100 a month. Let me come down and move my school down there. And that lasted for like maybe a month. And then that was at the time we just stopped doing it, stopped working.
That's when you guys wanted to kind of get back into the game and start working again. Like you guys wanted to start being wrestlers again.
Well, that was the hard part. We lost bookings because New Wave would run the same days as other shows that we were getting booked for. Right. And so we lost numerous bookings because we were running our own promotion, but we weren't working. We stopped wrestling on our own shows. So we ran shows for 5 years, from 2007 to 2012. And it was literally March 3rd, 2007 to March 3rd, 2012. Exactly 5 years. And I want to say after like 2009, maybe we 2008, we stopped booking ourselves because it wasn't fun to plan the show, to write it out, to time it out, and have to work it.
Yeah. And the only reason we worked it anyway was just to save money on workers.
On time, yeah.
Yeah. It was like, okay, this is an easy, any kind of tag team match we'd ever have on the show. We just have us on it. And we lost like 90% of them.
We won the tag titles once and we lost them 2 months later. And the only reason we took the belts, I think I might have told you guys last.
Yeah, you didn't have anybody to put them on.
There was no one to put them on. We built up the next team in 2 months, dropped the belts to them.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, guys. I mean, in SoCal and Matt, I need to know your perspective on this too. If Andy and Trevor would have came out with Anchors Away, starting out as a heel group, but then wanted to come over to the face side, how do you think that would have went over with the crowd? What do you guys think?
Honestly, they would have made it work. They would have made it work. They would have made it work.
SoCal, what do you think? Do you think they would have made that?
I think so. I think that transition would have been easy for them. I mean, they're, besides them being faces or heels, they have a very special dynamic between them two. It's like their chemistry is perfect. Like no matter what angles or characters they play, they complement each other so well that they can get away with whatever they want. So definitely would be able to do either or.
Hey, you guys do know.
It's like a left and right arm.
You guys do know that you don't work for him, those two anymore.
I'm trying to say nice things.
I'm serious. Everything that we're saying is because we literally owe these dudes everything. Like like New Wave. I'm telling you, and I said it at the show in the induction speech, and I swear to God, it's fucking true. If it wasn't for Andy and Trevor, Rotten Ronnie would not be who he is today.
No,
and that's 100% true. And they literally saw me and they said, Thrash, we're gonna make you the guy. We want you to be the big heel here. We think that you can do it, and we're gonna get you there. Who else had done that for me? No one has ever done that for me. Like everywhere else is like, the promoter's like, all right, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna be in the main event and I'm gonna win my own title. Like, no, like these guys are like literally, we're gonna have Thrash be the guy, and then also there was like, hey, let's give Thrash a faction. I got a fucking faction from New Wave. I mean, how awesome is that? And that's still like the best. Like me and Bob Hansen were that was like one of the best tag teams.
I still go back and watch those Thrash promos every now and again.
They're great.
Oh, me too.
To me, honestly, like I was already, like you guys said earlier, established and working before I met all these guys. But it was like I would go to locker rooms and just meet regular workers or other workers, and it was more of a high and by kind of deal. It wasn't until I had the opportunity to meet Thrash, Andy, Trevor, Matt Twisted, Jeff, all these guys, where literally that's where wrestling became like really more of a family to me.
Absolutely.
So it was more like meeting these guys was like, okay, this is where I belong with this group. Like, this is my group, and that's what made wrestling even more fun for me, because I know that even if we weren't on the same show or anything, I know I could always call Andy or Trevor or Thrash or anybody and be like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this tonight. What do you think? Or this and that. And they would give me their honest opinion, and instead of some promoter telling me, oh yeah, go ahead and do that. It'll get you, a lot. It'll get you looked at. You know what I mean? So to me, honestly, like meeting these guys was like the cherry on the top of my whole wrestling dream.
Yeah, I tell you, there was once you establish that camaraderie with people, it makes the business so much more fun.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Because it really does become this family dynamic. There was times often that we were hanging out in locker rooms, more than we were like hanging out at home. You do your 9 to 5 job like Monday through Friday, and then you go wrestle Saturday, Sunday, and you don't really see your family as much as you'd like to. And then, but you had a family in those locker rooms, and it was really cool to see.
And there was a crew of us that would come up. You'd hear people, hell, the San Diego boys are here. And it'd be, Andy, me, Nestor, Thrash, Twisted, wherever you went. If it was all of us, that's we all hung out, and there was never any like beef between us and like the LA or Inland Empire crew, but it was always, when you saw the San Diego crew, it was us that was going everywhere. It was all of us just traveling together, going to different shows. Sometimes we were the only outsiders for that promotion. Were us like Battleground Pro for a while? It was the Thrash, Socal, Andy, and I. It was us in those locker rooms, and everyone else was a Battleground original.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of times we were the crew going everywhere. But yeah, it was. I would say that 2006, 2007, when we all started really bonding together, that's where the family really came involved. And it's it's actually something I regret not bringing up during our induction on Saturday. I had thought. I didn't think of anything to say. I had thoughts, but I didn't write anything down. I really had nothing in my head, set in stone. But I was sitting there going, okay, I do want to bring up Thrash and Socal, because actually Socal was actually supposed to be a part of the induction.
He was, yeah.
But then he had to go slip on fucking cake.
Yep. Well, he got pulled to do something in the main event instead, which that's awesome. We weren't upset by that at all.
No, of course.
But it was. I wish I would have spoken up about more of that family that we had back then, because it really was. I saw these guys more than I saw my wife at the time. She was my girlfriend at the time. I saw them. If my wife didn't come to wrestling shows with me, I was hanging out with Andy, Socal, Thrash, Twisted, and everyone else. I saw them more than my family. They became that family. I was good. One thing that had popped in my head when I was trying to think of what to say was to joke about the word brother and how we all use it, very liberally.
All right, brother.
Brother. And I can't tell you, I've probably brothered more people on Saturday than I have in a decade.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like even sitting in that locker room on Saturday, dude, it was the four of us with Idol, and then Tommy came in. It was the crew that we just hung out with 10 years ago, just shooting the shit. And I think I even said to Andy, I was like, it feels like we were just in a locker room last weekend.
Yeah, nothing changed.
Nothing changed. It was great.
It's really cool.
It was
really
cool.
Yeah.
So you were going to say something, Andy, when I said the thing about the
Oh yeah. So look, we did do face. We were a face. We were so Dave Marquez, who runs Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, along with a bunch of other stuff. He's like the head of like the Championship Wrestling Network.
Watch that.
Or the United Wrestling Network. Great stuff. It's good, it's good stuff. And we were brought in to work for him, and I think Dave's and I don't know if Dave was the person who said it, but they wanted to bring us in as faces. They wanted to bring us in as faces. I was like, okay, because he always ran this very old school promotion, like the style is very old school, the studio type wrestling, and you know, back in like the early '80s, '70s, and things like that. So he brought us in as a face team. He said, lose the tops, just wear the singlets and the pants, and then go out there and wave the American flag. And, you know, basically he Lex Lugered us.
And we were handing out little American flags to
we're
fans.
handing little out, you know, it was, you know, the corniest shit. But, you know, we did what, you know, we did what we were told, and we got, you know, we definitely got a little bit over it. There was definitely some room for improvement.
The first time we came out, though, we got quite a bit of booze because
we
were heel everywhere else.
Everybody,
and it was a little bit awkward having us come out going, "Come on, baby!"
Yeah,
you
come
know,
on, baby. Yeah. But we did it. So and it's funny because we only lasted like 3 or 4 matches there until Chaos, who was the booker at the time, had pulled us aside and said, "Listen, you know, I got no spots for you." And I think what he said was, "You guys aren't TV ready." And I remember. And this is what I will equivalent, because at the time I was in the best shape of my life at this time. I was thin, and I was you know, toned, and I was tanning, you know. And I remember
was
like
the Coke, by the way.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. No, I was the original cocaine bear, and we you know, and he said, like, I think you guys are TV ready, and I'm like, I remember like being so bitter about that everything just kind of stopped. And that's when I started like gaining all my weight back and stuff like that. But I remember like really pissed off. It's like, well, because you brought us in as fucking heels. Like, you know, there's no way this could work. But you know, we did make it work for a little bit. We did it there. We did it at MPW. Yep. We were a face team, and I said the only demand that we would have is that if you're going to come in as faces, then we want to come out to that America Fuck Yeah song. And
America,
and
it worked,
because that way we could still be anchors away, right? But you know, people would be able to participate in our shenanigans, and so we did make it work, you know. And I will say that we weren't great faces, but we were decent enough faces where if we just turned face, I think we could probably make it work. I don't think it would be as effective as it is when we were heels.
I was going to say, I don't know that your promo, Andy, would have been.
So, and I'll tell you another funny story about Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And at the time it was NWA Hollywood. The only time we ever did a promo there, we did a taped promo, and it was against what was it?
Tito Escondido and Rico Dynamite.
Yeah, it wasn't Tito and Che. It was Tito and Rico. Yep. And we did a promo. I love
phenomenal.
I love all those. I love all the Santino boys, with the exception of like 1 or 2. But we'll talk about it. But we cut the promo, and I remember I don't remember too much about the promo, but I remember at the end it was like, don't get it twisted. Just because we're coming out there and shaking hands and saying, "Yeah, baby," don't think we forgot how to kick ass, and we're gonna kick your ass today all over Hollywood. And I remember like, after we were done, like we already knew, like at that time, we already had the talk with Chaos, who said like, "Listen, this is going to be your last match. We're not going to do anything else with you." Because the feud, we were supposed to build this long ass feud, and it just stopped all of a sudden that day. Yep. We were already given the Iggy that was going to happen. So we're like, well, fuck it. Let's go out and just do this promo. And I remember like at the end of the promo, like a lot of people were coming up to us like, "That was a great promo. It was such a good face promo." And I was just like, yes, it was. Like, think about all the stuff you're missing out, you know. But yeah, it was. We could still do our promos. Like even like at the induction thing, it really wasn't. You know, I wanted to treat it not like a promo. I wanted to come out and just have nothing written and just kind of say things that were kind of on my mind. I still forgot like everything. Yep. Because this asshole made me cry. But I have You did.
Yeah, I saw a tear.
Yeah, he was tearing up.
It was difficult. Well, I'll tell you about. I'll go back to that in a second. But in all of our promos, like all of our promos really could be, and this is why I say like you have to really believe in your character, because as heels, you know, we're on a different mission, right? We're on a different mission than we would be as faces. But even when we cut our face promo, it's not the generic face promo. Just like our heel promo is not like a generic heel promo. It's not this, you know, I'm gonna get you on the mat and count 1, 2, 3, and you're looking at the lights and all this shit. We don't do that. It's not. It's stupid. We go out there and talk about our cause, and we're able to do it in such a way that it works, regardless if we're heel or faces. So if we were able to do like, you know, if we were able to have like a long face run, I guarantee you we would cut promos that the crowd would get behind like crazy.
Absolutely.
And, you know, a lot of people just didn't give us the time of day as far as like cutting promos, because I think we, you know, again, we got this little bit of stigma because we were doing this comedy stuff for so long, but we were good at it. We were good at like cutting promos and messing with the crowd.
EWF let us do the most promos out of any of the promotions.
Those are great. And every time we went to EWF, they would ask us to do a promo. They loved our promos. And Jake, who had Alexander, who is known as Black Metal, I'll drop that dime. And he had told me, and at one of the shows, he told me, he's like, listen, if you were like, you know, 6'5" and had a better body, you'd have a job in like the WWE. I'm like, you know, you're that good at promos. You know, and it's true. Like if you really believe in your character, you know, and just kind of like be a little bit psychotic and let that character kind of take you over a little bit, you can definitely speak your cause and really make people believe in you.
That's what you did for me. That's what you told Matt. Matt told us on his show when we had him, when we did his interview, he said, listen, you know, I was sitting there one day and Andy just came over to me and said, you know, why don't you do it like this?
Yeah.
You know,
he basically said, dude, like you should be crazy when you do Rotten Ronnie, you should be crazy. Like, and he even said, like, you know what you should be like? You should be like a family member from like the House of 1,000 Corpses. And he's like, he's like, did you ever think about like maybe like cutting spots out of your hair? And I'm like, well, I can't do that shit, but I can be crazy because I am crazy.
And that's where he kind of came into his own at that, because that's the character he believed in, he wanted to portray. Even now that, you know, he's like, his gimmick is basically like this really goofy bully. You know, nobody does it better than Thrash, and that's because he really believes that shit when he's in there. You know, and that's what it is, that you have to believe. You have to really believe in your character's cause. If you don't, then you're in the wrong fucking place. Yep. Then you're no better than anybody else cutting generic promo shit. Or even when you wrestle, you have to wrestle like your character would wrestle.
Yes.
You don't play a part. You don't act.
And I think that had a little bit of the issue with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood when they had us doing the Lex Luger was we were doing it, but at the same time, we were backstage pitching other ideas, going, hey, guys, like, you know, it was just too, in my opinion, it was hokey.
It was super hokey.
I'll be honest, I don't feel like I gave 100% during that time because I didn't like what we were doing. And they weren't, it's not that they weren't listening to our ideas. It's just what they didn't want to do. We were pitching to Angelo. We were actually pitching becoming terrorists.
Oh no!
We wanted to become terrorists.
Oh,
we wanted to betray America and become terrorists. Not like planting bombs and shit in the ring, but we.
It all goes back to Saw, baby.
Come out in hijabs. No, that wasn't. You know,
no, that wasn't it.
That wasn't it. You know, but no, yeah, exactly. We were pitching other ideas. It's like, listen, we can get over like this. You know, if you let us do that. But that's the truth. In NWA Hollywood or Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, even now, they don't write a wrestling program. They write a television show.
Yeah.
And you are given characters to portray. If you're not believing in that character, right? Because this was what happened with Lex Luger, right? I'll say this unequivocally. It wasn't because he was a shit wrestler or whatever, right? The character's fucking stale. It's boring. It's stupid. Like, nobody does that. Nobody goes out and waves the American flag and talks about Old Glory and all this shit. It just doesn't exist.
Except for Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
He didn't believe in his own character anyways.
Well, no, and
look, have got it over.
Who would? Right? Who would?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan would.
But
Hacksaw was just one of a million one in 1,000 that's had that gimmick that's actually got over using something like that. Otherwise, you got other ones like Sergeant Slaughter, who tried to be the sympathizer for the Iraqians.
Amazing.
Could not get it to get over.
Amazing.
But look, he became the champ. And I think that if you look at it, what was the only time that Slaughter was WWF champion? When he stopped doing the G.I. Joe, waving the flag, doing all that, and turned heel and was topical. I actually just watched WrestleMania 7 last week.
He had people wanting to kill him.
Yeah.
He literally had people wanting to kill him. He was
Bomb
being called an
threats and shit.
Iraqi sympathizer.
Yeah, and then when he came back and he was like a face, nobody gave a shit.
No one gave a shit again.
And he did all these vignettes and promos like "I want my country back" and all.
It was
this
him
other
and
stuff.
Duggan as a tag team. Nobody gave a shit.
Nobody
after
gave
that.
a shit. And
But
the
they
reason,
liked-
and that's the thing is we bring up Jim Duggan. The reason Jim Duggan works is
Because he
because
slammed
that's what
his
he
head
was.
in the
Well,
microwave.
that's what he was doing back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
That worked in the 80s. You know what I mean? Just like studio wrestling worked in the 80s. Like this, the typical like come on baby yeah face guy worked in the 80s. Wrestling is different. It has evolved. Even when we were in there, it was evolving into something different.
Oh,
And
God,
again,
the indie style is what was taking over when we were about halfway through our career.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And that's why you have pop-ups like AEW and stuff like that. And like, you know, not to get too much into other wrestling stuff, but I will say that the reason that AEW is so popular, or at least it was in the very beginning, is
Still is.
because they gave, in no uncertain terms, a promise to people that they weren't going to shove old shit down your throat. They were going to give people what they wanted, how they knew how wrestling was evolving. And that's what it was, you know.
No. The
and they
reason
ended
why
up doing it.
AEW is big is because you guys fucking trained Jungle Boy. Shut up. That's
Yeah.
why it's big.
We just gave him his first match.
Gave his first match, and
I say train.
and Luchasaurus and Miro.
Luchasaurus. Yep.
You know,
Oh, that's right. I forgot Luchasaurus was there too. Holy crap!
and Rusev was there. So yeah, we were kind of
That's right. Rusev was at the downtown Boys and Girls Club.
He beat
And he
beat
did
up
the
Ariel
one
Star
show we did at that
at
MMA gym.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 6-man tag. It was like us and we were the baby faces in that one. It was like us and Maldacito against Rusev and a couple others, or Miro.
Yeah.
But
Oh
actually,
my
I
God.
ran into Miro. I mean, it was a while ago. It was in 2014.
That was a
but-
way long time ago.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel
was-
like it.
It doesn't though. But
Yeah.
this was in New Orleans for WrestleMania 30, and we were sitting in the hotel because Jeff had a signing with Jake the Snake, and so me, the Dynamics, my wife, and one of the Dynamics wives were sitting downstairs, and I see Miro, and I ran up to him, and I said, "Hey man, I don't know if you remember me," and he gave me the cockeyed look, and I just said, "Trevor and Andy, we gave you the match," and he goes, "Oh, at New Wave."
Yeah.
And you
That's
know,
dope.
he was, and I just wanted to congratulate him. He was in NXT at the time. But he remembered, and he was such a good guy. Even go listen to his podcast with Jericho. He mentions he wrestles Ariel Star.
That's
You know,
fantastic.
You
cool.
know, he was super cool then. I'm sure he's still super cool now. Same probably with Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus probably. And I didn't like Luchasaurus. Andy had to call me to put Luchasaurus on a show.
Yeah.
Because he pissed me off, and I told him to get lost.
Yeah. He was, you know, and I liked him because he was like super tall, and he was always good. He was always good with me. But he was like super tall, and he had like those tattoos like all the way down his hands. So it's like, this is a great, you know, this guy's gonna freaking make it. You know, he's gonna go somewhere. And he did. So
He did.
yeah.
And he did.
He did. Yeah. I was kind of smart.
So let's real quick. I know we're running out of time. I mean, shit, we're out of time
already?
Well, shit.
I mean,
Let's keep going.
Yeah,
Well,
we're going
okay.
for 5
Well,
hours.
first-
dude.
No, we got a lot of
first off,
stories.
No, first off, before we do anything else, if you guys have noticed, everything's purple today.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yes.
that was because of our friend here, Socal Crazy, and what he had to go through.
Absolutely.
And so today, I decided that we were going to make it about, you know, to help the cause. So I've been having this thing around down at the bottom that if, you know, anybody would like to donate or anything, you know, that's where he said to donate the, you know, funds to.
Please do, people.
Please
And
If
do.
you're
go
out there
get
listening,
checked.
please do.
Yes, go
Get. I gotta
Yeah,
tell
thank you guys for that. That's you know, it's something that's very, very dear to my heart. Obviously, from now on, from this point till, you know, I no longer exist. So, yeah, thank you for that. So for those watching and listening or whatever, please, like Thrash said, go get checked. Go get checked.
Actually, Trevor said that, but I mean,
Trevor,
I'll take the credit.
Yeah, I had
fuck you, Trevor. Yeah, I said go get checked, people. When you asked who saved your life, it was all Rotten Roddy that saved your life.
Yeah, I had before I came on, or before we came on here, I had messaged him. I said, "So, do you have an organization that you want to that you deal with for this?" And he just told me colon cancer, and I'm like, okay, we'll put that on the bottom of the screen and just make everything the same color.
Yeah, that's nice. I tell you that I will say that it's weird because it always happens to the nicest people. That this it was crazy. And when we found out that I think Trevor and I were probably some of the first people that got the call from Socal and said like, hey, this is what's happening, and it was so scary. And it was really upsetting at the time. Yeah. But I will tell you that it's weird because I feel that he was in such at the time that all this stuff started happening, he was in such a dark place, and not only did he kick out of cancer, he became just an unbelievable human being. Yeah. And you can tell there's a tremendous amount of gratitude with him now. And, you come and talk to him at shows, but not just this. I mean, if you build a relationship with him, you'll see that Socal Crazy is pretty, probably the best human being on the entire planet. He's just such a good person. And I'm really happy that
he'll actually return your phone calls now, which is really good. So he's turned over a new leaf.
He knows. And I'll say, look, and Trevor and I were talking about this at the show. We were just sitting there, just kind of waiting, for everything to start. And we said, in a sense, as dark as it is, we said, in a way, getting this ailment for him, in a sense, saved his life, because he was able to kick out and do so vigorously that he became this entirely other person. Yeah. And who he was in general was just an amazing person. But the person he is now is just, goddamn. I'll tell you, the best human being on the fucking planet is, I hope he knows. I tell him all the time, I give him a hug, and I pat him on the back of the head every time I hug him. I say, I love you. And I really do. I really fucking do, man. He's such a good person. So yes, I'll plug it too. Like anybody who's watching this, even, pennies, it doesn't matter. Give, if you can give something, because people like Nestor are alive because of things like this. Yep. And the world is a better place that he's in it. So
absolutely,
he's the reason why I went to San Diego last weekend. It wasn't for this Hall of Fame induction. Yeah. When he was going through, and I don't think I've ever said this to you, Socal. So here it goes. When you were going through chemo, and I didn't tell anybody. Andy didn't know. Jeff didn't know. Nobody knew this. When he was going through chemo, I made a promise to him. When you come back, I will fly my ass to San Diego or wherever you're wrestling. We were hoping it was Socal Pro, and I will be there when you return. I promised him this. I didn't tell Andy this until a couple months ago when Socal started making his return. But that was the whole reason why I went to California last weekend. It was for him. It was because I haven't seen him since your wedding, Andy, and I needed to go for him. He was making his return. Now here's where the fucked up part is. This motherfucker kept telling me, April, I'm coming back in April. I'm gonna have my first match back in April. So I start planning my life around coming back in April. I go to Jeff, when's your April show? And then he tells me, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I still hadn't told Jeff I'm coming. And so I start booking my information, my flights, my car, hotel, all that. And I tell Andy, all right, man, I'm coming out April 15th. I'll be there for Nestor's return. I immediately get a text back. Nestor's not wrestling on that show.
You just made it the wrong weekend, dude. It's this weekend.
That's
this weekend. You got to fly your ass back out.
Come
on back out. Come stay at my house. We'll carpool over there.
So
you keep your ass there because you got COVID. Never
I was about to say, you guys want COVID?
I probably already gave it to you guys anyway. But that was the reason I came back. But I haven't told you that I found out from others that you weren't working, and I never told you. But I still was like, I said, I don't give a shit. I'm still coming. Unfortunately, I couldn't come out at the later date. just life and stuff. But I made this work, and then Jeff decided to put us in the Hall of Fame for it. But my main reason to come out was to see SoCal Crazy.
Yeah,
I needed these three other gentlemen on here, these three gentlemen on here were the reasons I came out here, but SoCal was the primary reason.
He was the primary reason. We didn't even know we were getting inducted until like the weekend before.
Yeah.
Okay, who's Marcus Roman?
Oh, Diamond Azul.
The bet. Get his ass in here.
He's been sending messages on here this whole time.
Oh, there he is. Oh, hi, Diamond Azul.
Hey,
how do you see him?
Marcus.
I don't see anyone.
Send him a link.
There he is. Yeah,
Where's the bet to the bed? The bet to the bed.
Mark can do it. Mark can send him a link.
But yeah, if he wants to pop in, he can pop in. He was one of our guys,
students.
one of our trainees. And
he
was actually
from New Wave.
New Wave. He was actually he won the tag team belts, right?
Yes, he did.
Yep,
Yeah.
That's who we dropped the belts to. Is him and Angel Santos.
And
Yes.
Santos, yeah.
Yes.
What was the tag team called? I'm sure.
El Cartel.
El Cartel. Yes.
El Cartel.
It was great. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Oh, I like him. He was always really good. He was good, and I think he did like some art for us too. Like
He did.
drew
He made a
something
couple
for us.
Anchor's Way drawings.
Yeah, and in the middle of his Wiener Schnitzel job.
You know, I have a great story about Marcus Azul before he gets on here and he says it didn't happen, because this fucking happened. So I want to let you guys know that when I say they don't call me rotten for nothing, it's because I lived my persona. And this is what I used to do in the fucking locker room. I used to cup my ball in my finger, right? And I would sit there and I would pet it. And I say, "Hey guys, I caught a baby mouse." and God bless him, Marcus Azul always fell for the shit. And I remember this one time he came up and he's like, "You caught a baby mouse?" I think it was the first time. He's like, and he said it like, because he kind of had like a little list with, "You caught a baby mouse?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like, look, it's right here." And all the while, I had done this shit almost in every locker room, and all these motherfuckers knew what I was doing, and they saw it, and they're just laughing in the background, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, do you want to pet the baby mouse?"
No.
And he's like, "Yeah," and he stroked the baby mouse.
No,
he stroked it like 4 times. He stroked it like 4 times, and
I need him in here now.
I remember he did it, and I just let go, and he sees the ball sack, and he goes, "You son of a bitch."
I don't know if Andy did that when, remember when we were in the military, our coverall, you wore coveralls, right?
Yeah.
So they unzip from the bottom,
Right.
and the top, right?
Yeah.
So I used to unzip from the bottom, right? Whip my ball sack out, grab the skin, and pull it, and go, "How the fuck did this gum get here?" And everybody would look, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know how I got this gum here."
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Oh,
Check out this bat wing, guys.
Take a look at the Batwing.
I learned my lesson about showing my balls. So this is iPhone when iPhones first came out. I didn't.
Shit. Go ahead. Keep going.
I didn't get an iPhone because you couldn't send pictures via text messages when they first came out. So I held off on it. And then I finally got one, and then Trevor told me, he's like, "Oh yeah, that you can send pictures now." So I updated my thing, and the very first picture I sent him was a picture of my nuts, and I was like, "It works," And like less than a minute later, there's a fucking tweet from Trevor, and it said, "David E. Jones just tried to sell me this shitty beanbag chair." It's my nuts on Twitter. It's probably still there.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's great. Oh yeah,
that's funny.
See, you gotta be careful with that shit, man.
That is a fucking hysterical though.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't delete.
Yeah, they're there. I mean, my nuts are there for the world to see. They're there somewhere.
Oh, I've got one.
You
Don't show it on here.
Oh no,
I've got one here.
There's a big bag chair for sale.
No,
Now,
please.
I'll say this:
you're gonna
you
get
won't
the
be able to
podcast
see anything from this if it'll work. But Andy knows what I'm talking about with
it's all a
with
blur.
this.
I can't see anything.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking
What the
about.
hell is that?
Is he pissing?
And I'm fucking pissing. He got my goddamn dick in there.
If you zoom in, the pixels on this picture, man. You zoom in.
It's like,
zoom right in.
It's like half a pixel to show it, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, it was it looked like a little mushroom getting out of the pants.
Oh my god!
But yeah,
and then right after we took that picture, we started driving away, and we saw some chick dropping trout and taking a piss right on the side of the road. Not even trying to block it like with her car.
She doesn't give a shit.
No,
She was like, he was out here doing it. Why not?
Squatting, taking a squirt, and it was great.
That is
It
funny.
was great.
You know what's great? You know what's great is every time I look over at SoCal Crazy, I am just blasted into my childhood because right now, SoCal Crazy, you look like when Rey Mysterio came running out in WCW NWO Revenge. Like you look just like him. Like the face is all like in the camera like this, and you're kind of like looking down. And every time I look over, I'm like, Rey Mysterio? I picked him? I picked Rey Mysterio, and I'm back in fucking Nintendo 64 days. So thank you, dude. Like, I thought I'd just share.
You're welcome.
Thought I'd just share that with you, SoCal. You're just giving all the fucking time. Jesus Christ.
Always,
Even
is.
when you don't think you are.
So 3 out of the 4 of you guys still work in the promotion, right? SoCal, you're in the ring, wrestling. Matt, you're giving away.
He's the MC.
Shirts and fucking
VP.
t-shirts. And
I'm
giving people
I'm giving out
STDs
STDs and
left and right. And Andy, you're ring announcing.
Yeah.
Don't forget that they do the TV show too.
yes.
Yeah.
SCP
So
TV.
good.
TV.
So good.
Yes,
I
thank you.
even texted Andy after I want to say it was like the 6th or 7th episode. I sent to Thresh too. It's like, man, your chemistry with each other is just getting better and better each episode.
Yeah,
it's
hilarious.
very good.
It's
Hit
hilarious.
the bed to the bed.
Hey guys, hello.
What
What's
is that?
happening?
Blue
You want to see a baby mouse?
Hey, you can still come over and pet it, bro.
I'll pass. Thank you.
Yeah, this dude's a good. He's a good dude too, man.
Great
He's
kid.
He was
Yeah.
Yes.
just a sponge. He soaked in knowledge, and we never like put him in like high profile ass matches. You know what I mean? Like, but he was there for like years and did anything we asked him to do, and he was always like he was easy to work with. I think we worked him a couple times.
Yep.
He was easy to work with, and had a
Took
good
every
attitude
move.
and stuff.
Took every move. And always had a great attitude.
I think
Thank
we brought
you,
him into
Marcus.
Battleground too. Didn't he wrestle in Battleground too?
Yes,
As a
I-
heel.
I
Yes,
did.
you
Yeah, it was a tag team match. So I think we were in a like a company versus company feud that he
Yeah.
brought over to Battleground. Yeah, and I think I remember that time that I think we might have forgot our music to the show. It was just me and Santos backstage, like waiting for when to come out, and I think I remember Andy just coming out, just go out there. And we somehow through the door back there to the ring. But it was fun though. It was fun.
It
Hey,
sounds
who
like
was-
something we would do.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? I don't know if this was at New Wave. I can't remember. But who was the guy that came down? He was like super jacked and he forgot his music. And I'm like, oh, dude, I got you. Like, what do you want to listen to? What's your gimmick? And he's like, oh, I need something heavy. And I'm like, no problem, I got that. And I went and grabbed my CD. And literally says like random songs on there. And I think I gave it to Jeff because I think Jeff was doing the music for the show. I want to say this was at the New Wave show in the downtown Boys and Girls Club. But anyway. The guy was like getting ready to go out. I'm like, all right, man, give it a delay, and then it'll come on. And what the song was is I like had It's Raining Men on there, and I had it queued to the part where like if you waited like I think like 3 seconds, it just went It's Raining Men. So I'm like, dude, go. And he went out. He's like, yeah, what's up, everybody? It's Raining Men. He's like, what the fuck? And he turned around, turn that shit off. And at this time, I think I was underneath like the table where the music was, and I was holding my face because I was laughing so hard. And he's like yelling at Jeff, I think. And I think Jeff was just like, hey, don't yell at me, man. It's not my song.
See, remember a time in wrestling, and this is how old we all are. Is when you would go to wrestling shows, you'd bring CDs.
CDs.
Before that, and I remember when I first came in. I came in 2001, and I remember when I came in, like the rule was you would bring a CD and a cassette because not everybody had a CD player at the time.
God.
Now you just email your entrance music to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, and they have videos and stuff, and everything's like so different. But
Little
yeah,
montage.
a little bit of old knowledge for you guys.
We
Yeah,
had CDs, and if the CD skipped, guess what?
yeah, you're screwed.
Oh yeah, there were times where Andy and they were like, "Oh, what music do you want?" We're like, "We don't care. Give us Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
Yeah, we'll make it
really
work.
don't care.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Play whatever you want for us. If we didn't have our music, that is.
Although I
You guys
love,
came out to the Rockers theme one time too, and it was like, what?
We
the
did.
Fuck?
we came out to the Rockers theme, and I want to say it was like during a battle royal or something like that.
Yeah.
And we came out to the Rockers theme. I remember going to MPW light shows back in this is probably when I first started training. And I remember like they didn't. You can tell like nobody had music. It was a bunch of students that their light shows were just a bunch of students, and they would come out, and they would all come out to one song on the Blink-182 Enema of the State album because that's what they had at the time. Like they just had one person happen to have that CD, so everybody else came out to like Blink-182.
Play it.
It's
Yeah,
like,
just play it.
There's 8 guys on the show, right? We're good.
Right? Yeah. It was, good stuff. Music was always like a challenge. It's funny how different wrestling is now than what it was when we first came in because there's so much difference in it. But it was cool, fun stuff.
Those were the days.
So, Marcus,
All right,
do you have any stories about these guys?
I hope not.
Yes, he got tons.
Yeah, at that time, man, I don't know if you should be telling them.
We were really hot.
all I can say that they did put me a lot of work during training, and I followed along, and all I can say is like I'm glad I'm be part of it because I was going through deep depression before time because of work and everything, and then the first show was I think it was Battle of 1904. I think
It sounds like something. Yeah.
Oh,
That's what we called it. Yeah.
It was like a second show, and I saw
It was. I remember that was at the Bianca's Fiesta Hall.
Bianca's.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's what
I
it
remember
was.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
And all I can remember, like, okay, that was the first time I see Andy and Trevor had the match there, and then they were passing out flyers. I'm like, that got me like, you know what? This is a great opportunity to be part of this wrestling business that's going on. And yeah, I had to like convince my parents to just drive me down there to school, and it was just, even though it's so far away, and then from there, that's where the story just continues there from my end.
And then you just took nothing but abuse from old Rotten Ronnie. Jesus Christ.
Pretty much, it was just a bunch of views making fun of anybody. You know what?
I remember getting the message, and it was either email or Facebook, or so I can't remember what it was, but I remember
MySpace.
it might have been MySpace.
Might have been MySpace.
But I remember
MySpace,
he wrote us, or he wrote me and said, "Hey, I'm interested in coming out to training." And I was able to take a look at his profile. So it must have been like MySpace. But I was able to take a look at his profile, and he had a lot of religious content on there. And I was like, oh no, like, we are not the people, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to scare this kid off. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we are,
right.
we are the most evil people in the world, but
Except for SoCal. SoCal was nice.
Yeah.
well, of course, he's,
Somebody has to be.
and
Well, that's why we all showed up to work, guys.
especially now, like, so SoCal has found religion that's really helped him with his whole process. But yeah, I remember like getting that email and like looking at his profile. I'm like, man, this kid's like, he's gonna hate us, because we are just rude and pissy and shit.
Well, and not on only
And
that.
I think it was his first day, and I think Andy or Trevor was like, all right, we're going to have this new kid coming in. He's very religious, so watch what you say. And I think the first thing I said to Marcus was like, you ever read Dante's Inferno?
Damn it, Thrash.
Yeah, but he was
the wrestling business is very, like Andy said, rude.
Oh,
there's a lot of like
It is real though, because
It takes a
I mean,
special person to be a wrestler. It really does. To put up with all the bullshit.
in the ring you're performing. In the ring you're performing, right? Outside the ring though, when we're having a conversation, we're us. We are who we're going to be. I
Right.
mean, we joke, we we give everybody, I don't know, we are who we are, and that's just.
Well,
I don't know if that sounded right. I don't know.
No, and it comes out. Look, it comes out to that thing again, where you have to like really kind of believe in yourself and become this other person.
Yeah,
because it really is like it feels like schizophrenia. You know, you know. And I remember I'll tell you a funny story. I was wrestling for a promotion, and we were working. Me and Trevor were working TDK, right? With TMDK. It was Shane and
Mikey. Yeah.
Mikey, and we were coming out or whatever, and there was this kid in the audience, and I went to go high. It was two people. I remember two people. So there was one person I went to go high five, and I screamed at him, and I scared him. And then I went to go do the same thing to this kid, and the kid fell for it. You know, he went to go high five me, and I screamed at him, and I said, "What? You know, are you that stupid? Are you a retard?" And I remember and afterwards, I come to find out that this kid has autism. I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and this is after, if they told me that in the ring, I probably wouldn't have given a shit, because I was like, that wasn't me anymore. That was this other guy.
Exactly.
But I remember when I found out, I was like, bring this kid over. Like, we got to talk to this kid. Yep. And I remember going down on my knee and like talking to this kid and saying I was sorry. And, like I was like holding back tears because of how awful, that felt to do to that child, and it speaks volumes because yes, wrestling could be very, very brutal. And sometimes you'll do things that you may feel bad about later. Although, like I can't tell you how much racially insensitive stuff we said over the course of our match. Nestor knows.
Who's Nestor?
Yeah, well, sorry.
Goddamn Christmas donkey all up in this fucking conversation. Jesus Christ.
But we would, say the most insensitive things like in the world, to people. And then like you kind of take a step back in the dressing room and be like, did I just really say that? That's kind of messed up. But but again, you do that for the betterment of the show, of the quality.
As long as
you
can separate yourself from that character once you're done with that character. But what people don't understand about wrestling, and I even know this, some people can't do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ric Flair is one of them. He can't turn it off and on anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's one that sticks with that character all the time. He has to be that character because that's his safe place.
Also, that's probably all he knows.
He's been Ric Flair, longer than he's been himself.
And that's the thing with wrestling is, a lot of those old school guys, that's all they did. They were wrestlers.
Just to keep
all of us had 9-to-5 jobs
because they came from a time when kayfabe existed, where people weren't going to the shows in the same cars. Mm-hmm. They had separate dressing rooms.
Heels stayed with heels and faces stayed with faces. And if you were caught together, you were fired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you certainly talk to.
Well, no, there's been few people that have been fired over that, but that's mainly in the bigger corporations.
The person who trained me, his name is Rick the Equalizer Drayson, and he had told me stories about he was trained by Mae Young at the Grand Olympic Auditorium on a concrete floor, and she would spend hours, like when he first wanted to wrestle, beating the living shit out of him, like beating him up, not telling him that this is all like a ruse, just to fucking wean out. And that's what they would do in those days. They would wean out people just in case they went and snitched to their friends, like, hey, we're kind of working together and this match is predetermined and all this stuff, because they really believed like, this is you have to kind of keep this whole thing a secret. So people do that and they fall victim to being in that character for so long. Mm-hmm. In the most recent times, you have people like, I'd say like a good example is MJF, who, is anywhere he goes, he's MJF.
He's turned on. Except for a few.
To me, it's just too much.
But he's so believable.
What was his name? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What was his name?
But when you think about what he does and what he says, he does turn it off, but only when he's around, people that he can trust to turn it off.
Yeah.
But when he's around fans, when he's at autograph, you're getting the authentic experience. Like what you see on TV is what you're getting at an autograph signing, And I think that is also what helps keep that character. Yeah. With Andy and I, that was one of the things that we were very much adamant. Like, no, when we are out there, we are them 100%. Yeah. There were people that got to know us at a certain level and got to see a little bit behind the curtain, Andy and Trevor instead of David and Ryan. And it was very few. Like, we'd meet people after shows. Now, would we be healing up on them? Not all the way. We'd probably talk a little bit of shit to them as we're signing something or taking a picture. Like, come on, hurry it up, pal. Little things like that. Or, Andy would always sign things, avoid the clap,
Avoid the clap, David E. Jones. Yeah.
Yep.
League of Our Own.
But, we wouldn't be completely like, oh, we're not signing your shit. We would still do everything they'd ask, take a picture, whatever, but we would still be a little bit in character because we don't want to break that
magic.
That
Yeah.
wall.
Oh my God, the guy
we would do
the guy with the book. The guy with the book.
Oh
You
boy,
guys
yes. My
book?
biggest fan.
Yes, he had the book. He had everybody sign the book.
Everybody.
Everybody signed his little book.
I'm sure
I even got him to sign like get people that weren't even wrestlers. I remember my best friend John and his brother were there. And he comes
You
up and
guys,
gets-
I remember you guys wrote something in like he was showing it to people and he would be like,
I think I drew
I
a
got
cock in this
those
book one
guys.
time. Like
Wrestling is fun.
you guys are terrible. You guys are
Very
terrible. But shit, man. We're like 2 hours deep, bud.
Well,
But there's
You
one
know
last
that-
thing I want to say about Saturday before we wrap it up, and we kind of alluded
Oh,
to it
we got
earlier
some-
about
we got
Andy
something
crying.
hold on before you
yeah.
do that. Before you say that, we got something else that we're going to have you guys help us with before
Sure.
you guys get off the air. But before that, go ahead and tell your story.
So you guys were starting to allude to about Andy crying. And I told you guys last time, one of the things that I always enjoyed doing was anytime I could pop Andy, break Andy, whatever, that was our goal with each other. We would say things, do things in the ring to try and break each other. And so as I'm cutting that promo or saying thank you and I'm thanking him and I'm telling everything and I'm, and everything I said is true. And that's exactly how I feel. So when you see Andy start choking up and I go up and I give him the big hug, you don't hear what I said in his ear.
I couldn't hear
What did I
shit.
say to you, Andy?
He said, "Now you got to cut a promo crying, you fucker." Oh, you bitch. That's what he called me. He called me a bitch. I'll tell you, like that was a thing is like because they had asked me before, like they asked me like a week before. They're like, "Hey, do you think you're going to cry out there?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know what to expect." So I don't know. So, I held my own like during, because the promo video that they had was, I was getting kind of choked up with that because it was just, oh man, it was well done.
Yeah, yeah.
And then listening to Thrash's comments, like I was like, okay, fuck, that's really nice. That's so sweet. But I'm gonna keep it together. And then Trevor had said, oh man, I'm like thinking about it. I'm gonna lose it. Stop it. He said, Anchors Away is here because you gave me a chance. And I love you for that. And I love you like a brother. And it's true. Like, look, despite what it looks like, Trevor and I have had disagreements and we've never come to blows, but we've had arguments, and I believe Trevor knows more shit about me than I'd like to admit, but hearing that, it really meant a lot. It really did, because up until then, really the segment was really about getting this thing in with impressive. That's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to get this thing over with impressive. And when he said that, that's when it became something about us. And it was so incredibly magical to hear that. So yeah, right after that, I started fucking crying, and then I forgot everything I was going to say. And I didn't, I was going to say nice things about my wife and kids. I didn't say that. And I was going to say, beautiful things about a lot of the guys in the back. I didn't say that. And, nice things about Thrash. I didn't say that. Everything kind of fell to the wayside because I was just like so goddamn emotional. But it's a funny story because, the reason he did that was just to fuck with me.
So, and as I'm saying it, like I said, every word that I said, I truly do believe. I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for him. Anchors Away happened because of Andy, not me, because of Andy. And everything I said is factual. And when I saw him getting choked up, and I got choked up. When you hear me call him my brother and say I love you, I cracked. I was cracking in the back listening to Thrash, watching that video. I was choking up. And like I said, I cracked when I said I love you. And as I'm hugging him, and I know he's crying. That was why the first thing in my head was, all right, now you got to cut a promo while crying, you bitch.
It was great.
But that's what he would have done to me in a wrestling match or any other time. He knows if he would have got me, he would have said the same thing. Part of the reason even in the back, I was even telling him, I was like, listen, when we do our thank yous, let me go first. I'll start it off slow. You could taper off from there. But it's also because he's the better promo than me. We had to bring it home strong. We had to bring it home with the right guy. So that was why I also was saying to go first. But also my head was like, if I could break this guy, I'm going to do it.
He did.
I wanted him to lose character for just a moment.
Yeah.
And that was one goal, and I'm happy I was able to do it. But I did it happened in an emotional way, not a funny way. And I'm happier the way it came out than what I was picturing in my head. I was picturing in my head like trying to get him to like start laughing and crack something. I was going to probably say something about when I farted in his nose, but Thrash already ruined it with the fart promo.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out a way to get him to crack in the ring, but I was happier that I got to do it more emotionally than in a comedic way.
Yeah.
We couldn't look at each other in the eye. Like if it was me, Trevor, Andy, we couldn't look each other in the eye when we were wrestling because we'd start laughing. But you know who we'd always look in the eye to break them every time? SoCal Crazy. because it was so fun breaking a guy in a mask because I would literally just look at him and he'd start laughing. And if Trevor were in the ring too, and like if it was like Trevor and Andy on one side and me and SoCal on the other, like I don't even think SoCal could get the tag because he would just look up and see our faces, and I think we would just be like,
it was fun. I'm gonna share this real quick. It's very vulnerable, but I have a weird issue with panic attacks. I've had them for several years at this point, and with panic attacks comes a lot of like shame and guilt and just unnecessary fears, and then cope with like a good amount of depression. So being there that night and hearing these nice things from Thrash and this video package, and then bring it home from like Trevor, and then all these on top of all these people that are reaching out like via email and Facebook and posting all this stuff. It was just, regardless of how confident we appeared to be in the ring, I am the most recluse, scared, person in the world. I really am. And it's one of the first times I really felt like I matter, and it was a magical moment to experience that. So that's really what kind of just broke me was having that. And Thrash is right. Is that when you get to a point where you're really loving each other like brothers, and you're not so much concerned with the match, but you're really more concerned about like making somebody laugh and smile and be that person, like, oh, fuck, you got me. You know what I mean? That's when that magic truly happens. It's a phenomenal experience. Professional wrestling is just the most magical thing in the world, man. It's so
Best
cool.
in the world.
Yeah.
And Nestor would break us by calling a bunch of spots in the back and doing none of it.
I think he just forgot everything.
Who is Nestor? Who is this?
Huh?
Where is this Christmas donkey?
The cat's out of the bag.
Jesus.
I don't know what that
Sorry,
is.
SoCal. I tried. You know what, dude? I tried to keep your name confidential the entire time, SoCal. I didn't even call you my nickname for you. So, you just remember that in your, when you write a book. I want, Rotten Ronnie Thrash never called me by my name.
To be fair, I've been away
Curtis.
from wrestling for 9 years, and I stopped calling everyone by their gimmick names a long time ago.
No, everybody is still like Thrash, and
that's why I'm.
But that's his name.
I'm so glad.
his name.
That's his legitimate name.
That's his legit name.
That's a pretty badass name. He has like the best real name in wrestling.
The best wrestling name in the
Best
world.
name ever.
How do you beat it?
It's a good name.
When I got home on Sunday, I was talking to my folks, and they were asking me about, because they watched it on the Socal Wrestling TV Roku app. They were like, "So
Japanese Ray.
Ronnie Thrash," and I was like, "Yeah." They were asking me about him, and I said, "By the way, that's his name."
Oh,
and they're like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Thrash is legitimately his name."
Yeah, great name.
I was like, "He has the best wrestling name ever. It's awesome."
Could have gave Rotten Ronnie to somebody else, but you had to hog it for yourself.
Yeah.
I
You know, I had to, man. You know, there's no one that can do Rotten Ronnie like me. There's really no one. And I love what SoCal said about me in his interview with you guys. He says if Thrash were around in the 80s, he would have made $1 million. And that makes me like if everything I've done in my career, just that comment alone makes it worth like everything that I've done.
So here's one. Since we went a little over than what we were actually intending. How would you guys
just a little bit.
well,
Just keep going.
No, how would you guys like to do this again in June?
June. Let's go. June.
June's a month away. I'm giving you, Trevor, plenty of time to figure out something.
Get over COVID.
Yeah, get over COVID. Quit eating
COVID's not gonna affect us here. So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Listen, we might be canceled in June. We don't even know yet.
No,
Yeah. Hey, Marcus, just so you know, Trevor got COVID by touching a baby mouse in the
the baby mouse.
You know what he did, Marcus?
But I thought it was a bat.
He put the baby mouse in his mouth. It was
Oh
crazy.
my god!
Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. I regret it.
And there it is. And you guys just made podcast of the month. There it is.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Okay, Brian, we're gonna do something with these guys that show them what we're going through, and it's called the Denny's. It's an award show. It's an awards that's through the Deluxe Edition Network.
Okay.
And we're going to
see if I can do this.
You should be able to.
I mean, if it helps you, we've gone to Denny's many times.
No.
There was one time that Andy and I went to Denny's, ate the cheese stick, grilled cheese, and fries, and then went right across the street to Carl's Jr.
Right to Carl's Jr. on the way home. We had no business being trainers.
Home.
It was great. Yeah. I remember eating Denny's at I remember us being stoned off our ass. We were eating. It was me, Trevor, and SoCal Crazy, and I think we had said something like I tweeted something like "going ham at Denny's."
All right.
Well, guys, I never got a chance to wear a belt, and I really want an opportunity to try to win a.
He won't come over here and wear
my.
He won't even come over here and wear the belt that I got.
You have the women's championship belt. Why would
I do not?
You can go to Target and get a belt. I think like they have multiple sizes. They're all made out of leather. You guys got it.
What are you, 38, 36?
Oh,
easy.
Wrong kind of belt.
Just get one of those ones that doesn't have the holes. It just got the clicks and you.
Yeah, the clicks.
Ready to
looks
go.
like a seatbelt.
Why
are we even here? We already figured this out.
It's the belt I wore when I wore my suit the other night. Wasn't even a dress belt.
So
it was a fucking string.
All right.
This website is deluxeeditionnetwork.com. And there's a little contest going on. And if you go over here and you click on this image up top, it says the Denny's, and then click the image. Bada bing, bada boom. It brings this whole big section up, and you get a chance to vote for the podcast of the year.
Yes.
We are the letter U. So if you'll go there and click that one for us.
Yeah, we don't care about anybody else, just us,
Gotcha.
So this is where you guys get to come in at. Okay, history I'd like to fuck.
This is their category.
Yes, this is their category. The most fuckable U.S. president.
Oh, dude, Teddy Roosevelt all the way.
James Polk.
James
Polk, dude.
All the way.
You seen that guy?
Listen, JFK's got more holes in him now. So
I was just about to say that, and I was just like, "That's such a fucking horrible comment. I'm not going to do it." Leave it up to the fucking icon.
Let's take a vote.
It's JFK. I mean, it has to be now.
That's what we voted for every time so far.
I'm gonna say Polk just because it looks like he had a white turd on his head.
They all do.
I would look. I think I'm a fan of older chicks. So I'm gonna go after George Washington.
Okay.
Got to stir the oatmeal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we have?
Should we do that story?
All the way.
No.
Don't talk about stirring the oatmeal. We will.
They want to win the. They want to win the podcast of the year, guys. Stirring the oatmeal
that will
get them to that stardom.
Maybe
that
next time.
Canceled.
Maybe next time we'll talk about that if I can remember.
It's a 2-hour conversation.
Do we all? Okay, so do we all have to agree on the president?
We got to pick. Yeah, we got to pick.
For the most part.
We got to pick. All in favor for George Washington? Raise your hand. Keep it up. 1. Okay.
Bunch of assholes.
James Polk. Raise your hand. Keep it up. Nobody.
Oh yeah, you backtracking motherfucker.
Teddy Roosevelt, raise your hand. I got 2. And then JFK, raise your hand. There's 2 of us.
Oh, come
3 of
on.
us. 3 of us. Oh, there it is. There's
there
the
it
win.
is. JFK wins.
All
Okay.
right.
All right, for the next podcast, they picked best movie with the worst accents: Gangs of New York, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Highlander, Bram Stoker's Dracula, or The Devil's Advocate.
I'm gonna
Marcus,
say Bram
which
Stoker's
one were you in?
Dracula. Gangs of New York.
You think Gangs of New York had the worst accents?
No, I'm saying that's where Marcus was in. I'll say Dracula. The movie sucked. It was 6
Bram
hours long.
Stoker's
Yeah,
Dracula.
he
was
kinda-
awful.
Yeah.
And it was just
weird.
corny.
Yeah.
And I think accent's terrible.
Hey, it sounds like I think the majority wins. D.
Majority rules. There you
Yeah,
go.
D.
Yeah.
Double D.
10-cent beer night, best mustache in a TV series. Louis
Oh,
Guzman.
dude. A, all the way.
No way, bro.
No.
Hold
Oh,
on.
come on.
All the
John
way.
C. Riley, Pablo Shabir, and Bob Odenkirk.
I've never seen Jerry Buss, but I love John C. Riley, and I'll bet he rocks a phenomenal.
He
stash.
did.
John C.
Yeah.
Riley has the like porn star pedigree.
Yep.
Then
Not
it's him.
like the big
Yeah.
one, dude.
I think
It's
John.
got
C.
to be John C. Riley.
Luis, all the way.
No, that show
Yeah.
sucked.
All right, so we're gonna say we're gonna do the vote between Luis and John C. Riley.
Man, you're
all
gonna
in
pick
favor?
B. Everyone else is gonna pick B.
You know
This is
what?
bullshit.
Fuck that. Just pick Bob Odenkirk. Why the fuck not? Let's be original.
Fine, we're
Who
going
the
Bob
fuck
Odenkirk.
is Bob
There you go.
Odenkirk?
What the
Pick him.
fuck? So Thrash fucked it all
Bob-
up for everybody.
Bob Odenkirk. You don't know who that is?
Yeah, he's the
Better
guy with
better
the
call
thing.
Saul.
What
All
the
right,
fuck is
yeah,
Better
okay,
Call Saul?
yeah, that was a great one, Thrash. Thanks.
Yeah, good job, Thrash.
You
All
can't
right.
participate in the next question.
Okay. Top
From
5
the-
stories from guests.
They're not
since,
gonna. They're not gonna
yeah,
know
they're
this
not
one.
gonna know
So
this one.
We'll skip it.
No,
We'll-
yeah, you just pick who. All right.
Hidden Histories, most influential photo ever taken. Come on, guys.
Well, it's none of those.
Where's the one of Marcus petting the baby rat?
That's what I was
Come
Oh
on.
I would say the U.S. Marines planting the flag.
Yeah,
I think Iwo
so, too.
Jima. Trevor?
Well, E is completely false because that never happened.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's a whole different podcast that we're doing.
Here
Like,
we
I didn't-
friggin' go.
Go listen to their podcast. They'll tell you all about it.
No, I'm
Go
sure.
to
You know,
C.
bring
I
Bob
say
Hansen
C.
on here next time we do this.
All right.
Oh, dude.
It's
Who,
crazy.
Best
who
Punisher.
played the best Punisher?
Thomas Jane.
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
I said
Dolph.
Thomas Jane.
SoCal.
Come on, dude. Dolph Lundgren said this. No,
No, I'm gonna have to go with
that
Thomas
time
Jane.
You're dead.
So I
you know
got
what?
one,
I've
two-
never seen it.
Thomas
you know
Jane
what?
won that one.
Thomas Jane.
Okay,
Thomas
Thomas
Jane,
Jane,
okay.
sure.
Dude, he stabbed Kevin Nash. Why isn't he's the best Punisher?
That's right.
Andy, did you know that he legitimately stabbed Kevin Nash filming The Punisher?
That's okay. Then him.
Legitimately. Well, there you go. Hey, listen. Best video game for 2022 and 2023. Where my game heads
I'm
at.
gonna have to say either God of War Ragnarok
God of War.
or Dead Space remake.
Yeah, I'd go God of War Ragnarok.
I heard God of
Hogwarts
War.
Legacy can
God of
suck
War.
my ballsack.
Yeah,
Eat my
I'm hearing
ass,
God of
Thrash.
War.
I
God of
think
War.
I think Thrash just
God of
wants
War.
somebody to lick his ball sack.
Marcus,
Jesus
Marcus is
Christ.
here.
Is it in that scene?
Marcus, don't worry.
Marcus is the bet of the bet.
The bet to the bet.
The bed and the
Best
bed.
horror movie of 2022.
Don't ask me. I don't watch
Best
horror.
horror movie.
Uh,
of
You don't
Oh,
watch
you know
horror
what? Let's-
movies?
I'm gonna get
Oh,
shit for it.
I say,
I'm gonna get
I
shit.
say,
Go
All
ahead.
right. Okay, listen. I'm telling you right now, and I don't care what the critics said. Smile was fucking horrifying.
see,
loved
I'm
it.
gonna
I
go with
didn't care for-
Barbarian.
I went with
I'm gonna go with
I went
Barbarian.
with X because I liked X, and Barbarian
that
was
movie
good.
was-
X is a
Dog.
porn movie, dude.
X
Like,
No,
was
it's
so
not.
dumb.
It is not.
I haven't.
Well,
I haven't
yes,
won
it's
one
about
thing
porn
yet.
stars.
Give me smile.
That
Yes,
means
but-
Mark's into the
Smile.
old people banging.
Smile.
Come on.
That's right.
I'm feeling Smile.
Yes.
Anybody?
Okay, we're gonna go
Everybody
Smile
for
then.
Smile.
If you
All right,
haven't
dude,
seen
Smile-
it, listen,
Smile
it's a
was
good
good.
movie.
Smile was
It's a
good.
good movie.
Where my
This one
drinkers at?
This one I'm out of.
Mm,
Whiskey
of
guys. Anybody?
nope.
If it's not a Bud Light, I'm not drinking
I'm
it.
about to say I'm a very
Yeah,
white trash
I
person.
mean-
I would say Bud Light, but
You
you know
know,
what?
I mean, Fireball eggnog sounds wild. I would
That
take
sounds
that one.
horrible. Why would
That
you
sounds
want
so
to do
gross.
that?
Because
to
that
yourself?
sounds awful.
But you're
Eggnog is
supposed-
gross as it is.
And
But
you're
there's
supposed
also
to
one
pair-
called the
Eggnog is
RoboCop.
amazing. I don't like
And you're
it.
supposed to pair it
sucks,
with a
you
movie.
heathen.
So
Let's do.
I'm going to tell you right here. No, Whistle Piggy.
Whistle Pig Whiskey.
Because that sounds fun. Whistle Pig.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's
And
Rambo.
you watch Rambo with that.
Okay, then you.
Hottest MILF in a movie.
This was our category.
Oh, dude, if
Ooh,
it's not
Jennifer
Jennifer
Aniston.
Coolidge, you guys aren't watching movies.
What do you?
I don't know. I gotta say
have you
Beverly
not seen Margot
D'Angelo,
Robbie?
man.
Margot Robbie, dude, come on.
I
haven't
gotta
seen
say
a movie.
Beverly.
It
D'Angelo.
depends.
I had such a boner for her. in
What
that
age
movie.
was it the?
It's
was
from
it,
the movie. So Jennifer Aniston and Rose were the Millers. Margot Robbie, Naomi, and Wolf on Wall Street. You got Leslie Mann, Debbie, and This Is 40.
Yeah, she was
Beverly D'Angelo and National Lampoons. And then you got
Yes.
Jennifer Coolidge, which is the original Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom.
Yeah, no, she's way overhyped. Beverly
think so, too.
D'Angelo, Beverly
Yes.
D'Angelo has like amazing knockers, but
Yes.
I would have to go like 100% because she just has the most phenomenal body, and I just think she's gorgeous as Jennifer Aniston. I just
Jennifer
think she's
Aniston.
just incredibly hot. I would do gross, disgusting.
Trevor?
If you're watching this, Jennifer, I would.
Trust me, you don't got a chance.
Andy wants to lick your feet.
Oh my God!
Yes,
yeah,
he will.
oh, yeah. Well,
He
we'll
will.
talk. We'll talk about that in June.
Hi,
But
Andy's
Jen-
wife. How are you?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
I could see her using this in it.
Yeah.
SoCal, where are you at with this one?
I'm old school. I'm gonna have to go with Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah. That's
So I
my
got
boy,
two.
Seps.
I got two for Beverly D'Angelo.
All
I'm
right,
Margot Robbie.
Oh my God!
Jennifer Aniston.
Somebody else pick
I'll,
Jennifer
I'll take
Aniston.
all 5. So
Marcus.
Beverly.
Hardcore. I'll take them both.
Look, I'm not picky. I'll fuck cousin Eddie. I don't
I'm just
care.
letting you know. Beverly D'Angelo won that one.
All right, okay.
Best animal sidekick in a movie. Have you guys seen any of these movies? Ginny the Donkey from. Okay, how about the Violent Night, the 8 Reindeer, Lucky the Horse, and Nope. Lulu the Dog.
God, I
Dog.
hated that movie. Nope. I'm not gonna pick Nope just because I hated that movie.
Yeah, it was terrible. That movie.
It was so
fucking
bad.
horrible. The 8 Reindeer and Violent Night.
yeah,
I'm gonna
it-
say Violent Night just because that was a fun
Just-
movie.
You guys
It
watch
was.
Violent Night, and you'll understand why.
There's
So
so
we're gonna
many
pick that
cool.
one.
All right.
World's True Crime, most emotional cases. I don't know if you guys.
Oh,
have-
Andy knows this one.
I do. I know them all.
Andy, pick it
Um,
for us.
Yeah.
I picked Amanda Todd on this one, Andy. The Amanda Todd story.
Amanda
Yeah.
Todd. Well, I mean, okay, but that's not crime. That's not like.
Amanda Todd.
She killed herself. That wasn't like crime.
It's an emotional case.
But yeah, no. Okay,
Amanda
it says world's
Todd.
true crime. I look.
Hey
I would
guys,
say-
I don't mean to. I gotta interrupt. I gotta take off.
oh,
SoCal,
Oh.
thank
Of course
you.
you do. Of
Thank
course
you guys.
thank you, brother.
Thank
Love
you for coming,
All right.
brother.
Love you,
I
brother.
gotta go pick up my new gear.
Oh,
Send me pictures.
Yes.
Send me
must be
pictures.
nice.
So
And
definitely
not
I'll
of a
send
baby
you guys
mouse.
pictures. But Andy and Trevor, I love you guys.
Love you,
Love you,
brother.
bro.
I'll talk to you guys all soon. Thank you guys again for having me.
Thank
Bye,
you,
Master.
SoCal. Thanks for
Love
coming,
you, buddy.
All right.
You know,
I would-
Matt, he didn't say he loved you.
Fucking
I
Yeah,
know.
no,
Cal,
he
I know he
hates
doesn't. He doesn't.
I think the Columbine shooting is really that's an incredibly emotional case. I would say that.
All right.
Best movie of the
Okay.
'90s. I know all these too.
Oh yeah, here we go, baby.
Oh boy.
Not the one that
Goodfellas.
got the most. Not the one that got the most votes for whatever. But like
Goodfellas.
what? I'm a
Wayne's
Goodfellas guy. That's me.
Goodfellas.
Wayne's World.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas is too long. I wouldn't do Goodfellas.
Never
I'd
even
say-
seen it.
I would say
Oh my
Wayne's World.
God, you're
You
missing.
never
out.
seen Goodfellas, Trevor?
Nope. And I've only seen
Aw.
The Godfather Part 1. Never even seen the sequels.
Man, I was never big in the crime stuff. I would say Wayne's World, but
Wayne's World.
Wayne's
Mark, where you
World.
at?
Wayne's World.
Marcus,
I think. Go ahead.
Marcus.
I never seen any of it except one. I'd go with Titanic, but
Oh Jesus Christ, Marcus.
get out of here. The wrong one left. You
The thrilling
He
love story
died.
of the Titanic. That's
did
Marcus.
you see the video? Somebody
Jeez.
remixed a video of the Titanic with a cat. It's really
Yes.
funny.
Oh.
It is funny.
It's hilarious. You see this cat
I-
spinning on the
World.
dance floor.
Listen, I can
Wayne's
get
World.
down on Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Party
Wayne's
time.
World. Yep.
Taking on the World podcast is doing the most gruesome murders of all time.
Mm.
Take a look at
I'd
that.
say Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I
Jack
think
the
so
Ripper
too.
was
Jack the Ripper
crazy.
would be.
Because there's nobody still knows who freaking Jack the Ripper really is.
I'll say Jack the Ripper too. There's so many cool like
But
brutal
Ramirez
murders that
was bad,
happened that
too.
could have been
Yeah.
there, but
Yeah,
Oh, there's
I like
there's
Jodie
a lot of
Arias.
them
She's like my favorite.
that ain't even on here. That should have been.
and then most prolific serial killers of all time: Jack the Ripper, Sam Little, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, GSK.
Dahmer.
I'd say Dahmer.
I'd say
because
Dahmer,
Dahmer
too.
was fucking evil.
Yeah, he ate people. I mean,
Dahmer's going to eat you
that's the
if you don't pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one, Deep Dark Secret's most notorious necrophiliac.
Ooh, I'd probably say Ed
Ridgeway.
Kemper.
Ed Camper for sure.
I think Ridgeway did more.
I think Ridgeway did more as well.
But did he inspire Leatherface and Hannibal Lecter?
Okay, no. Well, yeah.
Notorious.
So Ed Kemper.
Mhm.
Okay. Deal. Bev's Video Kingdom, most memorable movie, Stoners.
Me.
And I swear to God, if you guys don't pick Cheech, shame on you.
Real, I hated Cheech.
I'm gonna say the dude. I'm gonna
Hate
say the
those
dude
movies.
because I'm the same way. Cheech and Chong were so overrated.
I
So,
love
yeah.
Cheech
I
and Chong,
like-
but
yeah.
it's Smokey.
Smokey. I would say Smokey. Yeah.
Smokey.
Oh yeah, Smokey. I didn't see that.
Delicious cereals.
Captain fucking Crunch.
Fruity
I
fucking
said that.
Pebbles.
Captain Crunch.
Dude,
I want to
cinnamon
wake up in the
Toast
morning and rip
Crunch.
my mouth apart.
I love
Yes.
this. It's worth all the blood. Captain.
Cinnamon
Fruity
Toast Crunch,
Pebbles.
Marcus,
No,
what are you
Fruity
saying?
Pebbles.
I'm
It's not
a
even
Fruit Loop
marshmallow.
guy, so
Fruit.
Oh,
He's a
yeah.
Fruit
Yeah,
Loop
that
guy.
figures.
Martin,
Hey, done,
Fruit
Marcus.
Loops. Oh my
You're 0
God.
for 2.
Titanic and fucking Fruit Loops. Jesus Christ, there's Marcus's Friday fucking night.
God damn it.
That sounds good.
Just
Have fun with
watching
your-
fucking Titanic going.
Eating Fruit
"Did
Loops.
the bed, did the bed."
Hey, how many of you fuckers want to rip your mouth open in the morning with
Captain
me?
Crunch. Yep.
No.
I love
Crunch.
Captain Crunch,
Big
but it's
Captain
happening.
Crunch,
Fruity
but
Pebbles.
I hate that cereal.
I can't stand Fruity
Bullshit.
Pebbles. It's fucking garbage.
Oh, I love it. But
Best metal band ever.
Metallica.
Metallica.
Yeah,
Metallica.
Metallica.
Only because
Oh,
Megadeth.
hold
isn't on there.
on. We didn't hear what Marcus was going to say.
I say
Oh,
Metallica.
let me guess. Here we
He
go.
said
Oh God, yeah.
Is
What
Celine
is
Dion on
Hey,
there?
Sevenfold?
No, not Celine Leon.
Barrel Age Chicks is worst sex
It's-
scene in a movie.
Showgirls.
Howard the
Absolutely
Duck.
horrifying.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Yes,
How is
Howard
nobody
the
picking
Duck.
that?
That was fucking
so-
awesome. That was
Howard
funny.
and that was so like it was so creepy when
It
she
was
was
disgusting.
like, almost going to
How
have
many
It
you
sex
was
guys
with that
say-
duck.
bestiality,
Yeah, Howard
And-
the Duck.
You're not wrong there, but okay.
and she was gorgeous too, man.
Yeah.
And she was about to give it up to a
She's
foul.
about to fuck it
Trevor,
up.
I'm going to give you a win eventually, but you got to pick something that's going to make you win.
Howard the
It's
Duck.
because y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Watch
Showgirl-
Howard the
no,
Duck, and then
Showgirl-
you'll be like, oh my
Showgirls
God,
was
this is fucking disgusting.
1988.
You saw
Hey,
Dick. You saw
Showgirls
duck
was
tits in
something
that movie.
totally different. It was
Yeah,
the worst
it's-
You saw
movie to
it.
see her naked in.
Yeah, she wanted to fuck Howard the Duck.
Video game heads again. Best video game soundtrack.
How was Minecraft on there? What the
I
fuck
know,
song
Minecraft
does
is
Minecraft
dumb.
have?
Garbage.
It's
Listen,
very
Oh, dude, it's San
therapeutic.
Andreas or
actually.
Yeah, San
Yeah,
Andreas.
San
GTA
Andreas.
is probably the best.
because
You know,
because you can get in the car and change the fucking radio station.
Yeah.
why
You can
isn't
listen to
why
whatever
isn't
you
Mega
want.
Man on there?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. That's something that we'd have to ask
Andy,
them.
yeah,
Ah.
dude, this is why we need to go on this shit. And we'll win the fucking podcast of the
Come
year
on,
because
let's
we know what
go.
the fuck we're doing.
Let's go. All right, last one we got here is greatest scream queens of all time.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee
Agreed.
Curtis.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee.
Agreed.
Jamie
You
Lee.
gotta do the OG.
Jamie Lee.
Yep.
Jamie Lee.
OG. There we go. We're voting, boys. We locked in.
Did we win?
So,
Did we win?
not
Did
yet.
you get
not
a
We
yet.
don't know until May, beginning of
Yeah,
May.
this goes on until May, but the more votes that we can get, the better off we are. So if you guys get an opportunity, check that out. Go and vote as many times as you want. Obviously,
Always-
please, for the love of God, vote for talking shit.
Yep.
It means
Letter
it means
U.
a ton to us because, like I said, I'm gonna wear that fucking belt. I swear to God, and then I'm gonna show up to your house wearing that fucking belt, Mark,
Oh, okay.
while you're wearing your women's fucking.
I thought you were coming
championship.
over to my house.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? Okay, look, man, I don't have the room. My
Oh man. All right,
Andy will pin you for the belt, and he will do it naked.
I will.
Don't go
Hard-
to Andy's house. He will do
hard-
it naked.
I have
Hard
lots of
pass.
training. Okay. Oh, that was
Hard
exciting.
pass.
Won't be
Okay.
quick, but
Hard pass on that. Let's see here. Let me get this off of here. I don't know how to get this off of here. What the fuck? How do I turn it off, Mark?
There we go. I want
Okay.
to do a live podcast. That'd be fun. Thrash and I do a podcast retro rental review, and it's just on
Yeah.
YouTube. I'd love to do it live. That'd be fun.
Do
Yeah.
it.
We should.
Don't let it hold you up.
Don't
man. Just-
hesitate.
just get on Twitch.
Yeah, just
YouTube, do it live on YouTube with your cameras. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Maybe we could do it for the next movie.
Listen, I'm trying to figure out a way to hook up my phone because people want to do call-ins and ask questions, and I'm like, yeah. As soon as I can figure out how to hook my phone up, I'll be like, go ahead, caller.
That would be
You're on the
cool.
air.
Face
Dude,
time.
I want to do that.
Can't you get like a voice over IP number and just tie it into the
Trevor knows
whatever
everything.
streaming
Yeah.
stuff that you're putting on?
Talk to Trevor
Listen,
at
yeah,
the
just
show.
talk to Trevor.
He'll get you the phone.
Help me out here. Is it a Magic Jack or?
I don't. I've never done it personally, but
You can
I would
just get
assume
one of
it's
those,
some type of like voice over IP number where it's just a digital phone line that probably
Yeah,
ties
just
into your
something that
streaming
you can-
software that you
Yeah.
can. You might be able to do it through. What are those like the
They got apps for
Steam
that.
Decks or Stream Decks, whatever they're called, where you
yeah,
might be
Steam
able to add stuff into it. But I've never done it. I don't know.
We
That's
gotta
just
figure
what
it-
I would think. It would have to be
we'll
something
fi-
digital.
We'll
I don't know
figure
if it'd be
that
like
stuff out.
your cell number or something like that you would be able to use.
We'll have to figure it out. So, but boys, we really appreciate it and congratulations on
you.
your huge. Yes,
Yeah, the
absolutely
plaque,
fucking
baby.
love it. Love
Where's
it,
your
man.
Brian
Love
Knobs
it.
figure?
I think it's still upstairs in my suitcase. I haven't unpacked.
Thrash gave us Nasty Boys figures as a thank
That's fucking cool.
I
Man.
cleaned out my closet and I got them some cool gifts for their introduction. Isn't
It's
that
amazing.
nice of me?
And we showed Thrash Brian Knobs' asshole for the first time. So that was
yeah.
If you guys would
is-
really like to look
yeah.
at something cool, just Google
Oh,
search
God.
Brian Knobs' asshole.
Brian Knobs. You can't unsee it.
Can't
It's
unsee
a
it.
fair warning.
Oh hell no, no.
For this is
Can't
exclusive.
unsee it. I mean,
No, Mark, I'm not going
you
to come
can
on in
crawl
June unless
inside
you
the
look
shit.
at it. As a
You
matter of
can
fact, I want you to put it as the background, and I want us all to be talking into it. I want you to
You trying to get us canceled?
splice us all in. Just zoom in real close. It's going to look like the Holland Tunnel. I'm
Whenever-
telling you now,
whenever-
it's pretty wide.
Whenever someone talks, they appear as an asshole. They're like, oh, well.
All right.
Hey, we had to see it, so we have to share the goods with everyone where it comes up.
In fact, Brian Knobs, if you're watching this, just come on board. We'll do it live. We'll
Oh
do
my
it live.
God, if
Fuck
he's
it.
watching this,
Brian, thank you. Brian Knobs, thank you for the years
not
of
me,
entertainment
though.
with
Oh,
the
it's great.
asshole.
Oh
Thank-
man,
Thank you for
Most
being
amazing
a
asshole.
true nasty boy.
That should be one of the questions. Who had the most amazing asshole? Brian Knobs. Or Brian?
We'll think of that one for the next year's awards show. Listen,
Amazing asshole. What the fuck are we talking about?
listen.
Who had the best asshole? I mean, a lot of people are showing their
if you
assholes
don't
now.
listen to me. Listen to me.
Oh,
If I've not learned anything, it's listen to Andy when he tells you, let's just fucking do it and see how. Let's see
just
what
do it.
sticks.
Yeah,
Let's see what
go.
sticks.
I'm
Because I
down.
mean, hello. But hopefully by the next time you guys are on the show, I would like to have a couple of other guys on with us,
Sure.
including Rick Ellis.
Yeah, what an asshole. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's all right.
He's probably taking a dump.
Somebody reach out to Jalapeno, let him know that we're.
I don't think he remembers us. If he does, he's not.
I'm
He may
sure
not
he
share have
does.
good stories to share. I don't know.
And Mark, I think you're going to reach out to Micropata.
I'm gonna keep trying.
Have Mike on the show.
Yeah, have
I'd
Mike
love
on
to
here,
talk to
yes.
Mike, and we can kind of get.
Hey,
like
we
both
got to
sides
keep
of the
it kind
story.
of civilish.
Why? I mean,
Hey,
I don't know.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
make-
like them when I retire.
we're gonna make your show famous. I'm telling you right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Bring it on.
Now we're going to have another fucking wrestling match. Let's go.
That's right. That's
Just
right.
with Marcus
And that-
Azul
and-
on
and
your
that way-
show, you've
Oh, gosh.
already boomed. You
And
guys
he-
are
To clear out my
Brian
ring
Knobs-
rust.
Brian Knobs and Mike Rapata, the world's biggest assholes. And that's what that.
Nice.
and then you put me in the middle of them.
Oh.
I heard you like
Smallest
being in the
dick.
middle of some assholes.
I'm always in the middle of assholes, baby.
What do you think
Lips
we were
and
doing on
assholes.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of assholes.
Just a bunch of assholes.
All right, guys.
we talked about. All right, cool.
Have a good
Thank
night. Thank you so much, every single one of you, for all of
Tight
your
little
time
assholes.
and
Yeah,
your tight
very
little
welcome.
assholes. And
I'm
we will
taking you off one at a time.
All
we
right.
will see you guys again very soon. Thank you very much,
you guys.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Later.
On the end.
Yay! All right.
That's what
So
she said.
how about that?
Oh, I had fun.
That was a great show, guys. Really from the bottom of my heart. To SoCal, thank you very much for coming in, sticking around. Wish you could have stayed till the very end. That's okay. Andy, thank you very much. Congratulations on your induction. And to many more great things that you're going to do with SoCal Pro Wrestling. Matt, same with you. Don't just ring announce, or don't just get in the ring and give away prizes, man. Get that crowd popping. Do the fucking Rotten Ronnie fucking shuffle. Get in the ring.
You know what they should do? They should make one of the newer kids come in as his son or something like that, and let him be like a
illegitimate kid.
Yeah,
that's funny. That would be funny. Trevor, again, thank you very much. You have been a fucking trooper as well. You and Andy together obviously are a great tag team. Congratulations to you as well on your induction into the Hall of Fame for SoCal. And we can't wait to see what you're going to do next. I know it's not going to be, wrestling, but, for your future, we wish you all the luck in the world. And Marcus, hey, right there at the end, man, thank you for jumping in. Next time, it's video. We'll teach you how to do that. Get with Matt. Matt will show you what a video camera looks like. I think it's like round and soft.
I'm
just fucking around. So, and Mark, do you got anything that you want to say? I know we got some really exciting
We got some interesting.
news.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna let the cat out of the bag just yet on May's on some of our people that we have on in May.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to get a confirmation on Thursdays. She has not said yes or no. She said she had to figure out something, but otherwise I'll know more probably tomorrow morning on but it's a local. She has an animal rescue, so we're gonna talk with her.
Perfect.
And then on Tuesday we're gonna have a boxer turned TV actor, and he's a director now. And we'll explain that all on Thursday. And then after that, next week, Thursday, we won't have a podcast. And
it's your wife's birthday. So
my wife's birthday. And then 2 days after that, we celebrate 25 years of being together.
Shame on you.
I know. Damn.
I'm just fucking with you. Congratulations to 25 years for you guys. And happy early birthday to your wife. Let her know I said that.
Yeah,
That's
you'll tell her anyway.
Yeah, I know. From us here at Talking Shit, and thank you, Deluxe Edition Network, for having us be a part of your network. Mark, the 2 podcasts of the month rolling out.
Barrel to Age of Aged Flicks and History I'd Like to Fuck with Don Brody.
Perfect. Go over and check those guys out on the Deluxe Edition Network. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. And we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Until then,
have a good night.